right, hello everybody. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. We are back at it again with another stream of Radical Dreamers, but I do think this will be the last stream for Radical Dreamers. I just have, okay, so I got 4 more endings last night, so I got up to the 5th ending. So I just need to do 2 more endings in game, and then there is another ending that is exclusive to the remaster, and you have to beat Chrono Cross and Radical Dreamers and get any one ending, and then go into the game selection menu, let the credits roll, and then there's supposedly another ending. So I'm going to pull up a walkthrough that I was using last night to get these endings, and I'm going to get the rest of them. So when I looked this up earlier, like I thought that I mean, you know, it sounded like it didn't really take that much to get the rest of the ending. So I was like, okay, I can do that in one stream. And it doesn't take that long to get to the endings, but it takes so much longer than I was expecting to oh, I didn't save from last time. Oh wait, what's this? So wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I might have to reload my last game and just play out the other ending because I guess I might have to start a new game and then save there. Because I don't think it recorded, because I finished the ending last time, but I don't think it recorded it until I start a new game and then save there. So I'm just going to run past through all of this. But this is almost at the end of the game, of the last ending, so we'll just run through this real quick. But anyway, so what I was saying is it doesn't take that long to get to these endings, but what I wasn't expecting was how long it takes for these endings to play out. Like, it's been about an hour per ending. So the very first ending, I got through it in maybe like 20 minutes to half an hour. So I was like, okay, like, yeah, they're gonna be pretty quick. But then the next one was so long, it was like an hour. And then you have to restart. Like, you have to restart a new game every time. Although I guess that's not really a big deal because, like, pretty soon after you start the game, you can get to the alternate endings pretty quickly. But I don't know, it's like, it takes so long. And then there's still random encounters you have to go do, and I don't know. It's definitely been interesting. Like, some of these endings have been really interesting, so I want to see the rest of them. Some of them have just been really weird. This one, I think, has been really interesting. This one was really sad. And so I know that they wrote Chrono Cross before they did, or no, I have that backwards. They wrote Radical Dreamers before they did Chrono Cross. And so they took inspiration from Radical Dreamers. So there's a few things that are different. So when I started this game, I was wondering about a lot of things. Like, Surge was saying like, oh, I met Kid 3 years ago and I was just a musician then. And I was like, what? Surge wasn't a musician, and he never met Kid before Chrono Cross. But then, you know, somebody in my chat told me that this was made before Chrono Cross. So they made some things different for Chrono Cross. But what they did from this ending is they basically took this ending and put it into Chrono Cross. So in this ending, the backstory for Kid was that she was found when she was a kid, and she was an orphan and abandoned and just like fending for herself. And a nun named Felicia found her and took her to wherever she lived. They mentioned what it was called. I forgot what it was called. The Temple of something. The Temple of the Four or something. And she lived at this temple. She took Kid back with her and took care of her and acted as like her like mother slash big sister figure, which is the role that Luca fills in Chrono Cross. And then Lynx, in Chrono Cross, Lynx killed Luca. So that's what happens here as well. Like, Lynx kills Felicia, and so Kid is trying to take revenge on Lynx. Okay, so yeah, this is the very end of the other ending, so we are just gonna take a few minutes to get through this, and then I'm gonna take a look at the next ending. Okay. Falling asleep. Proceed to the treasure vault. Okay, this might take a while, actually, because this, according to this walkthrough, I have to do a few things differently at the beginning of the game, but then I have to finish the game. Finish the game following the objectives of the first ending. Wait. Okay, I don't understand what that means. Finish the game following the objectives of the first ending. Okay, I guess we'll figure it out. So, I mean, it's been interesting, but I am ready to be done with it. I don't like a lot of things about this game. Like, I don't like the battles that you have to do in this game. They just don't make any sense. They try to put in these like random encounters like you do in most other RPGs. But since there's not like a battle system, it's just, you're just choosing what to do, right? Like, you're just choosing. It's like a choose your own adventure. So you choose like, oh, I attack, I dodge, or whatever, and it's completely random what happens, like if you're successful or not. So you can't, like, there's no strategy. Like, you can't do anything except just hope it works out. And in the main ending, there was this part where I had to fight these 5 goblins, and it was so hard because I was already hurt, so I only could take like 1 or 2 hits before I died. And since it was just completely random, I was dying constantly. What is on my mic? Like a... I think it was... I was eating peanuts earlier. I think it was like a piece of peanut. Okay, so that was that ending. Okay, now I have to let this... I guess I have to let this... I forgot about this. I have to let this run through the credits, which is this little ending part, and then the credits, which is unskippable. Another thing I don't like about this game, I mean, I know it's a remaster, and you can only do so much with a remaster, but I'm pretty sure you could add in like a skip, you know, skip this cutscene, skip the credits. So the other endings we've been through are the main ending. So there's like the good ending where you have to get Kid to like you if you want the good ending, and then at the end she'll save your life, but if you don't get her to like you enough, she won't save you and you'll just die, and that's the bad ending. So we got that ending just playing through this game. We got the good ending. And then the next ending was Magil and Riddle knew each other. They were childhood friends, and Magil came to the manor to rescue her or like take her away, because when they were kids they had, you know, little kid relationships where they were like, oh, we're gonna marry each other when we grow up. And then Magil, I think, ends up just like throwing Riddle over his shoulder, and like we all like run away from the manor, because from what I remember, Magil was like, don't you remember the promise we made when we were kids? And Riddle was like, that was a long time ago. then the next ending was this like sunflower monster that showed up and then took Kid, and she was like the head of the monster, and Magil told you that you had to defeat the monster with love. You had to bring Kid back with love. So you had to kiss her. Well, you could kiss her or you could just kill her. And that also solved your problem. Hey Rebecca, how are you doing this evening? Hope you're doing well. Hey Ben, I'm doing good. How are you? I just seen a video of a Twitch streamer calling out a viewer in his chat. If you can't afford a $20 haircut, perhaps you shouldn't be on Twitch. What? Wow. Okay. Yeah, you know, I don't know. I feel like Twitch culture is like, can be really toxic. I was just thinking about this earlier. Like, I just feel like the people on YouTube, I find are just like, they just seem happier. Like, I spend a lot of time on Twitter, and I see a lot of people complaining about Twitch and being like, oh, typical Twitch, like, doesn't do anything for Memorial Day, or doesn't do anything about the hate raids, or just like, you know, various stuff that Twitch is doing, but they're still like on Twitch, like they're still streaming on Twitch. But I don't see, I mean, I follow a lot of YouTubers too, and I don't see the same thing coming out of like the YouTube people. They're never like, oh, typical YouTube. The only thing I see when people going like, oh, typical YouTube, is when YouTube like takes down somebody's video. But you know what else I've seen is that YouTube, like Team YouTube, is a Twitter account that's YouTube's support team, and they are so quick on well, maybe they're not quick, but they respond so much to people's tweets, even if they didn't tag Team YouTube in them. If they have a problem with their YouTube channel or any videos or anything, Team YouTube responds to them. I think they just like, they'll see people tweeting about YouTube, and if they have any problems with it, Team YouTube will like just tweet at them saying like, hey, if you have an issue, you can click this link or send us a message or whatever. Like, they are really active. And I don't see Twitch support doing that at all. Okay, so there we go. We got the number 5 checked, so that's what I needed to get. And then we do a restart. Tarek, it was him who said it on his stream, the typical entitled Twitch mentality. Oh boy. I mean, I don't even understand what that means though. Like, what if a viewer can't afford a $20 haircut? Why wouldn't they be on Twitch? Like, is he implying that they can't afford subs or something? Okay, so I gotta fall asleep, rush after a Kid and Magil, and then proceed to the treasure vault. Okay, so let's start with that. Fall asleep. Okay, so you know what? I think you know what I just realized? In all of these, there's only one where you stay awake. Okay, then rush after Kid and Magil. And I think there's only one time where you investigate the light. Yeah, that's kind of odd. That, like, they put in this whole choice thing, but then There's only one time where you like stay awake. Okay, rush after them. There's only one time where you stay awake and only one time where you like look at the light. Basically, yes. What? That's messed up. That's that's why what I like really appreciate about YouTube memberships is that you can make them any price that you want. So like Ludwig just made all his I think he just made all of his memberships, or maybe I guess maybe it's just like he'll just have one level now, but he recently just made his membership $1. And a lot of other people I've seen have been making like their tier 1 $1, and then the other tier is basically the same as Twitch, but I think having your tier 1 at $1 is like that's very accessible and affordable for people. And then they still feel like they're really a part of your community by like supporting you and being a member of your channel, and they still only have to spend $1 a month. That's what I want to do when, or if I guess, if I get monetized, or get memberships. I don't know if you have to get monetized to get memberships on YouTube. I think you do, but basically if I ever get to my memberships, I would want to do like $1 for my tier 1. Okay, I forgot where the vault is. I think it's to the right. Okay, and at this point, I'm going to save. So that I have that ending in there. Okay, yeah, I think it's the next door. Yeah, that one's it. Okay, so it's locked, which is what happened the first time. And so we have to go get the vault key. Sykkuno just now has 99 cents membership level available. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, I feel like that should be like I feel like the big streamers would do that because they'll have so many people doing memberships. And it would make me feel better because so Ludwig had said that before that one of the reasons he left for YouTube was because he didn't really feel right like taking money from people. Like he wanted his money to come from oh, I didn't mean to go on the terrace. He wanted his money to come from like ads and sponsorships and like other places, like not like not from like people who like earn their money and are just and like need it for like bills. And okay, wait, I don't want to go here. And so one of the reasons he did that was so he could like make his memberships like whatever he wanted. And that makes me feel kind of weird too, like taking money from like people. Okay, I don't need to go in there. I just need to go into Lynx's room. Okay, but you know what? Actually, I'm gonna go back because this will give me a chance to inspect some things that I hadn't before. So in the study, I've never inspected the bookshelves. So I think I'll be able to inspect the bookshelf and not have any consequences, but just in case, we'll save. So in here, I've inspected the desk and I've inspected the paintings, but I haven't inspected the bookshelves. Okay, check the bookshelves. I walked over to a bookshelf and examined the spines of the neatly arranged volumes. The titles I could make out consisted of ancient-seeming words that I had no way of interpreting, and most of the books seemed to be written in exotic foreign scripts. I pulled out the closest one and, holding the weighty tome with both hands, I opened it, not looking for anything in particular. Strange symbols, the likes of which I've never seen before, crawled and danced across the pages as if they were alive. What was this? I squinted, looked sideways, tried bringing the page closer to my face, but I just couldn't seem to make the words sit still enough to make them out. I turned to another page on the off chance that there'd be something useful, but all I found was a chaotic dance of the same odd symbols. Just looking at them made my head hurt. Hey, what do you think this is? Huh? Kid came over to my side and peered at the book. That right there is what happens when you put a cipher spell on something. Ain't gonna make out a bloody word with that in place. Too bad, eh? Kid looked up and flashed me an almost consolatory grin. I don't know what that means. Okay, so wait, how does Kid know that? I mean, I guess that makes sense, because she's a thief and she'd probably see that a lot. You probably don't want to know what's in there anyhow. These all look like pretty nasty spellbooks to me. Wouldn't be surprised if the whole lot of them were cursed. Which means you probably want to be pretty careful. Never know what might come flying out. The moment the words came out of her mouth, I heard dark whispers, and what sounded like a distant screech coming from inside the one I was holding. Oh, that's creepy. I slammed it shut and shoved it back into its place on the shelf. Madrill, meanwhile, was looking thoughtfully at another bookshelf. He reached out for a leather-bound tome. Could this be? What you found, Madge? Anything familiar? Kid looked over, her curiosity piqued. An ancient grimoire known as the Book of the Dead. Who would have thought I would encounter it here? Okay, wait a minute. I think that... Okay, we're actually going for another ending here, because this is the next ending, so... I probably should have... Well, I did read this first. Because that I just didn't really register it. That I was like, oh yeah, I'll inspect the bookshelves next time, but you know what, we'll just do this ending first. So basically all I have to do is have Madrill check the book he's holding and then go to the main hall. He stared intently at the decaying old cover. Why not take a look inside? I don't think you want to be reading that. Okay, so we don't have to do this ending right now, but since we're already here, we might as well do it and then we'll get the other ending. Why not take a look inside? My curiosity got the better of me despite Kid's earlier warning. Let's take a look inside, could be interesting. He seemed to hesitate for a moment before nodding silently and carefully turning to the first page. I could have sworn I heard a clunk, followed by the sound of whirring cogs. I posted a tweet today talking about Twitch on my Twitter account. Oh, did you? What about Twitch? The wheels of fate had been set in motion. I looked at the page Madrill had opened the book to. It was bare. Hold up, is that whole thing blank? Kid sounded almost disappointed. Madrill turned to another page, then another. Each was as empty as the last. Talk about a letdown. What do you say we fill it in with a few choice words of our own, boys? Before we could stop her, Kid had grabbed a pen. Lynx is a bloody bastard, and we'll be doing the world a favor when we finally get him. That'll do. You sure? I could go on. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. It wasn't a loud knock, but in the bottomless silence of the night, it might as well have been a thunderclap. Rebecca, I met Rosita from Sesame Street today at an event separate from that. Oh, really? Wow. What was that like? Kid and I stood bolt upright and turned toward it. Madrill, meanwhile, hid in the shadows, drifting away like smoke. Panicked, I whispered to Kid. Okay, so we've done this before. So we'll just hide in the shadows because that was the better choice last time. Okay, so this plays out the same. It's a pinned tweet, something that I've been thinking about over the last 3 days or more. Oh, okay. That's quite a lot of thinking. Well, if you want to talk about it here, feel free. Okay, we saw this whole thing before. I was just making sure, but that did play out the same way last time. Okay, so we left the room. So now all we have to do is go to the main hall. Okay. Is this a random encounter? Suddenly, Kid stopped in her tracks. Something's there. I quickly looked around to see what it was. There was nothing behind us or in front of us. Where could it be? And then just as I was trying to figure it out, the wall began moving. Yep, this is a random encounter, although one I haven't seen before. A rectangular section opened up and swung around, revealing 2 enormous goblins clinging to the back. So this does make me wonder if there are unique random encounters for different endings that you do, because I've never seen some of these before, and I wandered around a lot my first time playing this. It was like something from one of those stories about assassins sneaking around in old castles. You goblins? Screamed Kid. They definitely look like goblins to me, maybe a touch on the large side. There were 4 in total, the 2 in front of us and 2 that had appeared behind us, cutting off our path of escape. Maddle rushed toward the 2 behind us. Meanwhile, Kid leapt at the 2 in front, holding her knife in both hands. I drew my knife and rushed to Kid's side. Crash! The spike ball of a goblin's morning star smashed into the ground, crushing the stone flooring. Kid nimbly leapt up into the air, evading the attack and landing on the goblin's exposed hand. She swung upward toward the goblin's head, plunging her knife into its left eye. Then she flipped backwards and stood ready for the next attack. That was Kid's style, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Okay, jump back. I don't think that we would be able to pull off Kid's trick. Okay, I think I've done this before. I deflected the goblin's driving strike up toward the ceiling and aimed an almighty blow at its face with my foot. My momentum unbroken, I turned full circle in the air and landed perfectly back on my feet, immediately moving in to thrust my dagger deep into its chest. Okay, that's the first time that's happened for me. It was fun? Nice! I'm glad to see that you had fun, Nullbuster. Why do people still consider streaming that you can only do on Twitch? That's what I was talking about in my tweet. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, and it's not that I, like, think that people should move away from Twitch. Like, if that's what they want. Like, I do think that, like, Twitch is not good for small streamers. I think that Twitch, like, traps people onto their platform, and most people don't even realize it, because Twitch, like, gives you these, like, really short-term wins, and it feels really good, and then they make it seem like you can achieve partner just as quickly as you achieved affiliate and, like, 1,000 followers and whatever, and it's like so much harder, but people think they can just do it just by streaming, and then they also think that, like, they should be paid to just be themselves and, like, play games. But I mean, like, there's so many people streaming. It's like, you know, you have to stand out, and you have to do something different. Ugh. There's so many flies lately than what everybody else is doing, but people, like, kind of get trapped on Twitch because they like get convinced that they're gonna get partner soon, when realistically most people are never going to become partner. And then also, it's just, the way I see it is, like, you don't want to be doing what everybody else is doing. So I get a lot of this said to me, like, well, but Twitch is where people stream, so that's where I want to stream too. So even if it was, I was thinking about this earlier today, even if partner was, like, a little bit easier to get. I don't think it should be super easy to get, right? Because then it wouldn't mean anything. But even if I thought, like, Twitch was better for growth, or, you know, if I thought it was good for small streamers, I most likely would still go to YouTube, because I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. I think that is a mistake. That you, like, in order to stand out, you can't do what everybody else is doing. Kushunk! The blade sank in up to the hilt. What the hell? I leapt backward, trying to put some space between us. Sensing danger, I jumped back. The goblin's hand grabbed uselessly at the air where I'd been standing. It's an entrapment mentality. It's called herd mentality. They basically give you affiliate to give streamers false hope that they can obtain partner, but over 99% of streamers will never get it, sadly. Yeah, I totally agree. And then, you know, that is how I was, because I started on Twitch, and that's how I was too. Like, I got affiliate in a week, like, in the minimum amount of time. Well, it was like really a couple of weeks, but I wasn't streaming every day. But if you take the time that I was streaming, it was over like 7 days. So it was like a week of streaming, and I got affiliate in like the minimum amount of time, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, yay, Rebecca, you're such a great streamer, you're gonna make partner in no time, you're gonna make partner in like less than a year. And then like, I mean, like every time I streamed after that, I get like 1 or 2 people every single time, and I mean, it was just like really depressing. But and then, like, if I had, like, a 4-hour stream where I only had, like, 1 or 2 people coming in, that didn't help me at all. But, like, if I go on YouTube, like, there's no bad stream for me on YouTube. To me, like, there's no bad stream on YouTube, you know? Like, so I can go live for 4 hours, and even if nobody comes in during my whole stream, it will still be put out there for a VOD for people to watch later. And even if they watch 5 minutes of it, if they watch like 1 minute of it after I stream, that still contributes to me getting YouTube partner. And I definitely had a lot of false hope about getting partner. And it's just funny when I look back at it now, because I was so into the idea of getting partner. I thought being partner was like, it was like you were a god, you know, to get partner. And now, only like a year later, I am like so disillusioned with being a partner. Just from like the things that I've seen while streaming and in content creation, and the things that I've observed. Had I been a moment later, it would have caught me. I was dealing with a monstrously persistent foe. But having spent the last of its strength, the goblin lost its balance and collapsed to the floor, where it succumbed to its wounds. Okay, I've never killed a goblin so quickly. I realized then that everything was quiet and the fighting had ended. That must have been the last goblin. Okay, so there were 4 goblins, but I only needed to fight 1. I guess Magil took care of 2, and then Kid already killed 1. I can't imagine you doing like a 12 or a 14-hour live stream every single day for a month on Twitch. Yeah. Yeah, and people do that all the time. I see it all the time. And people are streaming just crazy amounts of hours in hopes that they're just going to get discovered. And that is just not, it's not sustainable for people. I'm seeing a concerning amount of people burning out on Twitch, like streaming. Like, I see so many people pop up in my Twitter feed every day announcing that they're quitting streaming. And it's not even like people that I know. Like, it's just random people that Twitter, I don't really know how their algorithm works, but it's like Twitter just like thinks I would be interested in this. Or a lot of people I follow them, or somebody that I follow commented or something. But I see so many people quit streaming every single day, and I will tell you, 100% of those people have been Twitch streamers. I've never seen a YouTube streamer say that they were just like too burned out on streaming too many hours and it's not good for their mental health. Exactly. Twitch does build a lot of false hope. They do. I think that's kind of something they like bank on, right? Like it's something that they do to tie people to the platform so they don't leave, so that Twitch makes money off of them. Because they don't care. Like they just don't care if, you know, people get false hope or not. Like I mean, I think they've proven they do not care about their creators. They will do whatever they want, and they will still have millions of people lining up to be partner because they've sold this idea of partner so well to people. And plus, I realized as a former Twitch viewer that up until about a month and a half to 2 months ago, I decided as a viewer that I was going to basically delete and close my account. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm still on Twitch as a viewer just because, like, I have a lot of friends on Twitch, but I just don't stream on there anymore. Okay, so this is not where I want to go. This is the treasure room, and I need to go to the main hall. So that's on the other side. So continue on, and then we want to go to the... Wait. Yeah. Okay, so go back down the corridor. Okay, what? I feel like I'm getting more random encounters. Wait, why is this slug thing happening? Because I think this whole slug thing happened last night when I was under like some sort of curse. And I thought the slugs were happening because of the curse, but maybe it's just a random encounter. Oh wait, this is a random encounter. Okay. Throw myself to one side. Okay, so I did fight. Let's try to escape. Okay, so I don't know if you can escape, actually. Okay, we're just gonna skip all this, because it's just a random encounter. It's not gonna contribute anything to the story. Oh my god, okay, like, I'm just done with these, like, random encounters, too, because I'm trying to get all these endings, and having these, like, stupid random encounters just takes up more time. And they're not fun, because, like I was saying before, it's just random. Like, you choose an action, and it's random what happens. Like, you can choose to attack, or you can choose to dodge, or whatever, and it's completely random what happens. And I only had a Twitch account since about November 2021. Then I realized, why am I wasting my time watching Twitch streams whenever I can watch live streams on YouTube like I've been at it? Plus, I have a YouTube account and channel I don't need. I don't need Twitch for live streaming whenever I got YouTube. Make your content and stream all on the same platform makes better financial sense and is better for the streamer. I totally agree. I think that people are just like so attached to the idea of Twitch that they don't even consider what YouTube offers. And that's why I started doing like my videos, my small streamer diaries, is because I don't think people are looking into this enough. Because I talked to some small streamers, and they don't even know the things that YouTube are doing. They're like, if I mention that they put in live redirects, which are the raids, or like gifted membership, which are still really new, to be fair, like they're still in beta, but like people don't even know that. They're just like, what, really? Or like, if I say, YouTube streaming, it's basically the same as Twitch. Like, I haven't really found much of a difference, like the actual process of streaming. Like, I just have to connect my YouTube account to Streamlabs instead of Twitch, and then that's the whole thing. Like, it's pretty much the same process. And then they're just like, what, really? I didn't know that. And it's like, well, I mean, you can look into it. Like, I think people just should do a little bit of research. I think people are holding themselves back by not doing this research. Alright, I think this is the main hall. Alright, we're going in. We stepped into the main hall. It is the main hall. Okay. Dozens of flickering candles gave the room an eerie glow. Okay, it's all red now. This did not happen before, but I guess this is part of this ending. Huge roses adorned the walls, and the floor was decorated with a beautiful floral pattern. What the hell? We'd found something else to add to the spectacle. A gathering of well-dressed ladies and gentlemen dancing a waltz in perfect silence. What? There are other people here? Or are they ghosts? Our jaws dropped, and the doors swung slowly shut with a creak behind us. We tried them, but they wouldn't budge. We were locked in. Oi, what the hell's going on here? Yelled Kid, raising her fist at a maid who happened to be passing by. Magil pushed her hand back to her side. They're ghosts. That's what I said. And you are a very smart and very savvy person, and you do know what you're talking about. If anyone here has put this amount of research into the benefits of streaming on Twitch, I say I'm all for it. I appreciate that, Ben. Thank you so much. I mean, I'm pretty new at content creation. Like, I did my first stream just over a year ago, like June 1st, 2021. That was my first stream. And so I'm still like a very new content creator, so I kind of get like dismissed a lot because people are kind of like, well, you're a new streamer, like you don't really know what you're talking about, like Twitch is the better place to be for streams. But I mean, and while I don't have that much experience in content creation, like that part's true. But what I do have is I do a lot of research, which I don't find a lot of people doing. I learn very quickly, and I do like a lot of analyzing. That's my job at work. Like I'm a business analyst, so like just naturally I'm very curious and analytical, and so I think that helps me. And then I think I just have like some good instincts about things, like just it wasn't just my research and my analytics that moved me over to YouTube. I had like very strong instincts saying like YouTube is the better option for you. Like Twitch just didn't feel right for me. And so at the risk of you know, sounding very arrogant, which I guess is fine because I'm a very arrogant person, but like I think I have good instincts about things, and then like everything I just said, like I learn quickly, I'm very curious, I'm very analytical, and I think just because somebody doesn't have experience in something, it doesn't mean that their input isn't valuable. I mean, it is rare that somebody is just naturally extremely talented at something that they're new at, but it does happen. I think you look at it by like a case-by-case basis. You just have to like talk to them a little bit and then determine like, okay, do they know what they're talking about? Or are they just saying stupid things? He pointed to the maid's feet, and I realized I could see the floor through them. The dancing gentry, the simpering ladies, all of them were little but wisps from the knees down. Ghosts? Suddenly, everyone turned to face us. Oh, what was that? And just as quickly, the spirits looked heavenward and vanished, silent screams contorting their ethereal features. Oh ho ho, I do hope you enjoyed our little dance. The girlish giggle echoed around the room. Kid looked at the crystal chandelier above us. Who's up there? Get down here now! As soon as she said it, the figure of a young woman came floating to the floor. And who do you think you are? Kid glared suspiciously at the mysterious stranger. I am Lilith, goddess of death. Lynx brought me here. When I came, I claimed the body of this girl, Riddle, as my corporeal vessel. Okay, I was gonna say, that's Riddle. I was gonna say that they just, like, reused Riddle's, like, character design, but I guess they wrote it into this ending by saying that Lilith took her body. Okay, so that's another explanation for why Lynx took Riddle, like or adopted Riddle, because when he killed Viper, he had adopted Riddle. I think in the main ending, it's implied that he wants to marry her, which is kind of creepy. Me too, I'm very arrogant myself, so we both agree that streaming on YouTube is the better alternative and a better choice. I think that YouTube is the better choice for most small streamers. Um, not like 100% guaranteed. Like I just want people to like make an informed decision. So if I've had some people say to me like, yeah, Rebecca, like because I always go on my lectures about how YouTube is better and like Twitch like ties you to the platform and all that stuff. And I've had some people say like, yeah, Rebecca, like I know all that, but I can't leave Twitch. I just love it too much or whatever. I'm like, okay, as long as you've done your research about it and you still choose Twitch, you decided what was right for you, but there's just too many people that are not making an informed decision. And that really bothers me that like people are just staying on Twitch solely because like, oh, well, I heard it's the best place for streamers, or like everybody streams here, so that's where I stream also. And it just really bothers me that people like aren't doing any research on this at all. And then some people also, the money that they make from being in a Twitch affiliate, like some of them can't afford to like switch platforms. And so I am lucky enough that I have a really good full-time job that provides for me, so I could just switch over to YouTube no problem because I wasn't making any money on Twitch anyway. Oh yeah, and what's a goddess of death doing giving us the time of day, eh? I came to thank you. It was you who freed me from Lynx's grasp after all. Okay, I have more to say. I always do. So, most Twitch partners still need to have a full-time job too. Like most of them, the huge majority of them can't do it full-time without either having other jobs or other streams of income or having somebody else support them, like their family, their parents, or like a partner. And um I don't really know where else I was gonna go with that. Um I guess just like being like even getting to Twitch partner, it doesn't even guarantee you like any sort of income or steady revenue. And I think people like think that getting to Twitch partner is easier than getting YouTube partner when it's not. And that like they just can't afford to like take the time that it takes to get to YouTube partner. But I mean I think getting to YouTube partner will be totally worth it. Was it not you who inscribed his name in the Book of Souls? Oh. So that's what happened with when Kid wrote his name in there. Lilith looked Kid dead in the eye. Wait, you mean the Book of Death thingy that Madge found? The Book of Death thingy. Lilith didn't answer. She just kept staring right at Kid. I mean, it was called the Book of the Dead, or wasn't it? I mean, Kid was sort of right. Twitch does play favorites when it comes to people getting partnered. Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's pretty common for people to have to apply more than once to get partner. And then I do wonder sometimes like why certain people got partner and then other people didn't, because they're like very similar streamers, but Twitch like approved one person to be partner and then they didn't approve another person, and it does make me wonder like why that happens. The room suddenly felt terribly cold. It is my duty to freeze the souls of those whose names are inscribed therein. Lilith reached into her robes and produced a crimson jewel. Witness my latest masterwork. Okay, so if we wrote Lynx's name in the book, then she's freezing his soul? The frozen flame! Kid and I both exclaimed in unison. One of many. Lynx's instinct certainly cannot be faulted. Of all the souls with which to imbue the gem, truly his was the one. Okay, yeah, so his soul is in there. Its luster, its hue, it is truly beautiful. A beauty, ironically, that such a Philistine as he could not hope to appreciate. Ooh, harsh. Her eyes narrowed as she admired the stone, and a dark haze began to manifest in her right hand. It quickly took form, shaping itself into a great scythe. And then, in an instant, its crescent blade had flashed through the darkness. And the frozen flame had shattered into 1,000 pieces. Oh, she destroyed the frozen flame. Thus ends the cruel machinations that imprisoned me in the body of Riddle. Lynx is dead, his soul is no more. Crushing the shards of the frozen flame underfoot, she raised her left hand. Another black haze began to coalesce, this time taking the form of a book. The Book of the Dead. Lilith turned and handed it to Kid, her expression as cold as ice. Write another name. Choose another soul for me to harvest. Things were getting seriously out of hand. What was I going to do? I snatched away the book I refused on Kid's behalf. Can I save here? No. Okay, just take the book. An image of Kid plotting world domination with Lilith as her right-hand goddess flashed through my mind. Kid! I yanked the book of the dead from her hands. She glared at me. What do you think you're doing, Serge? Her voice was calm but dripping with menace. I mean, Kid, you're not evil. I'm sorry, but I can't let you play with people's lives like this. I mean, who else would she write? Like, Lynx is the only one she was after. She didn't reply, she only swung a fist at me. And then the scythe was slicing through the air, coming down right between Kid and me. I said this to someone about Twitch's has a culture of fear, toxicity, and intimidation, especially when it comes to chat. You can ban somebody in the chat on Twitch for just doing nothing. Or even not saying anything weird or offensive in the chat. Yeah, definitely. Oi, you looking for a fight? Kid reached for her knife. I do not intend to force you to choose a name, and do not misunderstand me. I simply wished to repay you for freeing me. She floated back up into the air. Oh, okay, so we don't have to do it. I'm a harvester of souls. I do not take sides. I am no one's to command. Can we, like, save this favor for later? She was leaving, but could we really let her? I asked Kid what to do. I asked Madrill what to do. Maybe we should ask Madrill because, you know, he's well-versed in magic and supernatural stuff. Are we just going to let this goddess of death do whatever she wants? I turned to Madrill, but found myself talking to no one. He must have vanished at some point. Oh, okay. I was suddenly very, very afraid. Lilith, meanwhile, had stopped mid-exit. Something was holding her back, something that had a vise-like grip on her ankle. A muscular arm had reached out from the darkness. Not so fast, Lady Lilith. You are coming with me. We must return together to the realm of shadows. Madrill stepped into the light, but something was off. He didn't sound like himself. Curse you, Shadow Hunter! What is happening? Lilith's features twisted into a scowl as she looked down at him. The Order of Darkness must be sorely wanting of aid to call on one such as yourself. Did they really think you capable of capturing me? Oh my god, so Madrill's like a hunter, like a supernatural hunter. It has been centuries now since you came to this world, milady. Your powers will surely have waned. Ha, are you sure of that? Her scythe came down with blinding speed and sent Kid flying through the air. I made to run and help her, but the sight of her stopped me in my tracks. An ethereal light was pulsing from her chest. Well, Madrill, if you don't hurry, your friend's soul will freeze. A vicious, self-satisfied grin slowly formed on Lilith's face. Hey, I'm the one who saved your sorry arse, remember? Roared Kid defiantly. My apologies, the situation has changed somewhat. Oh, okay. Bloody charming, you backstabbing, hoity-toity old... But Kid's anger was wasted on Lilith, who was focused solely on her conflict with Madrill. He launched a fire spell, only for her to deftly evade it, leaving it hurtling towards us. The ball of flames was on a collision course with Kid, but she rolled aside at the last moment, shouting at Madrill that he was a cack-handed drongo who should watch where he bloody well aimed his bloody spells. Of course. And the moderators do abuse their authority as a moderator on Twitch or even overuse their authority. It makes it scary for viewers to chat in the chat and does make viewers not want to come back. Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely have seen moderators go way too far. He retorted that he had no need to worry about what happened to Kid now that he had found Lady Lilith. and that we would have to learn to look after ourselves. Kid was less than happy to hear this and flew into a rage. Another bloody backstabber, can't trust anyone these days. And then she collapsed to the floor, clutching her chest. The light was now pouring from inside her, and it seemed like her soul would fly out of her body at any moment. But she wasn't so easily overcome. She struggled back to her feet and looked me squarely in the eye. Can't even trust you, Serge. If I don't get out of this alive, I'm gonna haunt you good. You mark me bloody words. She never could just ask for help when she needed it. Magil and Lilith's battle had escalated even further. They zipped back and forth in front of me like two shadowy blurs. Steel clashed with fire as Lilith countered Magil's spells with her scythe. Sparks, embers, and gouts of flame flew left and right, threatening to rain down on Kid. I threw my body over hers in an attempt to protect her. Aw. Kid, are you okay? My jaw dropped when I opened my eyes to look at her. The glow emanating from her chest had become a brilliant light, which was quickly solidifying. A new frozen flame formed above her inert body, glowing a gleaming crimson. Everything went dark, and I tried to grab Kid's hand with what little strength I could muster. Behind me, a raging inferno blazed. It's time, you will return to the realm of shadows. Lilith's body was engulfed in the I don't know how to pronounce that. Cacophony of flames. No, how could I fail? Framed by the fire's light, a shadow leapt from the charred remains of the body she had occupied. It was a shadow in the shape of a woman. It fell to the floor and lay there, motionless. Magil walked over, calmly lifted the silhouette from the floor and stuffed it into his chest. I could hear a tear-choked voice coming from somewhere inside his body. He lifted the silhouette from the floor and stuffed it into his chest? What? So he picked up a shadow from the floor and stuffed it into his chest? Must I leave this world of light so soon for that place of darkness? Please, just for a moment, let me glimpse the dawn one last time. Forgive me, Lady Lilith, but our lord has waited long enough already. No good will come of testing his patience further, replied Magil coldly. He moved back toward the shadows. Wait, you can't leave. You've got to bring Kid back. I pulled at his arm before he could slip away. That task must fall to you. Only the warmth of your heart can thaw her soul. Oh, so this is like the sunflower monster. When he said that the way to bring Kid back was to show her Serge's love. You must lay your heart bare. With that, he finally sank into the shadows and vanished. I held Kid's frozen soul tightly in my hands and thought over everything we'd been through together. But the more I thought, the more I remembered all the horrible situations she'd gotten me into. She was selfish, greedy, a constant troublemaker, and for all I knew, she didn't give a damn about me. But even so, I loved her. Before I knew it, I was crying. Oh, so he is in love with her. I mean, I guess that's implied in the main game, but they never really said it. Suddenly, the palms of my hands felt hot. A fiery light erupted from within the jewel. Then, the frozen flame thawed. The fire flickered, exploded into a rainbow of light, and melted back into Kid's body. I thought Lilith destroyed the frozen flame. Her chest began to move gently up and down. She was breathing again. Kid! I only just had time to cry out her name before she threw me to the floor. What the hell are you doing, you bloody pervert? Get your filthy hands off me. Thank the gods you're alive. Thought you could cop a feel while I was out, did ya? What? She was back. Oh, she was back. After Magil returned to the realm of shadows, we never saw or heard from him again. Having lost such a perfect partner in crime, Kid soon washed her hands of the thieving business. Oh, wow. Kid went straight. When she did, she told me she decided to try being a normal girl. I didn't believe her, of course. But I was wrong. When I next came home from plying my troubadouring trade, she was there waiting for me, and she was beautiful. I was completely lost for words. My travels resumed the next day, but I did not intend to wander far. Because she promised to give me a reply to the question I had asked her once I returned. Which was what? I'm assuming it was, will you marry me? Oh, so in the credits, Madrill and Kid aren't there. It's just Surge. Okay, well, I mean, that was the happiest ending so far. And the least weird. I even have seen some Twitch streamers run their chats like authoritarian. Is that how you pronounce that? Authoritarian? Dictatorships, even asking general questions like good morning or how are you doing in their chat, and they get banned for it. What? That's ridiculous. Why would they ban somebody for that? Okay, so that's another ending down. We're just in over an hour, and we only have one more ending left in game, and then we have to do the like secret credits ending, but luckily we don't do that here, so I won't have to play the game again. But the next ending does look like it's going to be the longest. It'll take the longest. Alright, so I'm gonna let the credits run through, and while it's doing that, I'm gonna get some water, so I'll be right back. Like, you're not supposed to ask your favorite streamer how their day or morning or evening or night is doing in the chat. What? That's so weird. I mean, that's the whole point of streaming, is to, like, get interaction between the streamer and the viewers. So asking a streamer in their chat how their day is a bannable offense. I have not seen this kind of behavior on YouTube as I have seen on Twitch. Yeah, I mean, I personally have never seen that on Twitch, but I haven't seen anything like that on YouTube either. Like, I haven't seen the same kind of culture come out of YouTube that I've seen on Twitch. Okay, we got one ending left. So we're gonna... But this seems like it'll be the longest ending, but we'll try to get through it. We're only an hour in, and we've only got one ending left. But yeah, I mean, like, I see so many people on Twitter. Like I was saying before, I just see a lot of people on Twitter, like, begging Twitch to, like, care about their creators or, like, make things better for their creators, like... And I just don't see... I've never seen the same thing come out of YouTube streamers or YouTube creators. Okay. So, fall asleep. It just seems like people are just happier on YouTube. I mean, I am. I'm happier on YouTube. I feel a lot less stressed out about my streams since I've been on YouTube, because if I can't stream for a while, I don't even worry about it. But people on Twitch get really, really concerned about their channel when they can't stream. Like, even if they just, like, go on vacation, they get so worried about their viewership because they're going to be gone for a while. But on YouTube, since I can just grow whenever, like, I don't have to be live for it, I don't even worry about it. I'll just be like, okay guys, I can't stream for however long I can't be streaming. I can't stream for like another week or so. I'll see you when I get back. Okay, so fall asleep, rush after Kid and Magil. And then... we get the vault key. Okay, so, which means we have to, so we can, I think we can get it pretty quickly. I think all we have to do really is go to the treasure room, find out that it's locked, and then go to Lynx's room. Get the vault key by following the same procedure of acquiring it from the first ending, then make your way back to Lynx's room. Okay. Yeah, I think so. Even mods are placing bets on one another on who can ban the most people in their chat live streams, almost like a form of gambling. What? I mean, that's really messed up. I also noticed a lot more spam and bots in Twitch chats than in YouTube chat. Like, since I've been on YouTube, I don't get like any spam or any bots, but when I was on Twitch, I got it all the time. Okay, so let's save so that we make sure that we have all our endings recorded. Okay, so we found out that it's locked. So I think in order to get the key, you have to go to the room first, find out that it's locked, and then we can get the key. Continue on. So Lynx's room is downstairs. Really? We got another random encounter? I swear, like, they put in more random encounters when you're doing these alternate endings. Okay, so the ghost, I have to get inside the ghost. So, let's go slip past the ghost. Oh, wait, this is different. My eyes met Kid and Magil's, and without a word being exchanged between us, a plan was hatched. They'd both already seen an opening. Magil quickly lobbed a spell at the ghost to distract it, and we slipped away while its attention was elsewhere. We'd sorely underestimated it. As if anticipating our movements, the ghost suddenly swelled in size, trapping us completely within its spectral embrace. The core of the ghost, where its face seemed to be, had more substance than the rest of it, and I didn't just slip through it like I thought I would. I oozed through it like I was stuck in some kind of goo. Okay, now this stuff is the same, but that stuff that just happened, that was new. I could vaguely make out Kid and Magil through the ghost's body. What were they doing? Things were looking pretty bad for me. Third, when I say kid, what are the first words that come to mind? Okay, so I think this is the same. I just have to be like, what? What? Yeah, what? I answered. My mind having gone completely blank because Magil has to use my mind. Okay, now this is playing out the same as the other times that I fought a ghost. The moderators on Twitch do encourage a culture of toxicity and intimidation with chat bans. Oh. Okay, that I hadn't noticed, but that's pretty messed up. Okay, so we gotta go down the stairs. We'll save. Okay, so we don't need to go in there. So that's Riddle's room. I don't even know if you ever have to go in there at all. Or wait, you do. You do, like, really late in the game. And then she tells you about the sword. Okay, so, but the good thing is, we're just gonna skip through all the stuff that I've already gone through. Okay, so we gotta get to the mirror, ask about the key. And I've already asked her everything else that I could ask, so I don't need to do that. There's no need for panic, it's just the whispering mirror, nothing more. Oh, okay. Ask where the key is. Okay, in the study. Book with purple cover in the furthest bookshelf. Of course, I know that. I know that very well since I played this so many times. Beware, he knows. Okay, I forgot about that part. The mirror said, beware, he knows. And then when you get to the end of the game, then Lynx tells you, like, yeah, that he knew, like, he knew all along you would come. Really? Another random encounter? And it's another ghost. Let's try drawing my knife because I've never done that before. I raised my knife toward the ghost with both hands, channeling all my willpower into the tip of the blade. Suddenly, a chilling shock ran through my body. The ghost was trying to drain the life from me. I felt so cold. A battle with the undead is a test of will. Whoever flinches first loses. While I may have been up against a being formed from a willpower so strong it created a monster, but this thing never had to put up with being mercilessly ripped into kid every day of its life. But this otherworldly chill, so cold. Suddenly I wasn't sure I was gonna make it. That'll do, Serge, good on ya. Just as I was beginning to succumb to the cold, to the despair, Kid's voice cut through the numbness. Somehow I was still standing. And then Kid flew past me, her knife gleaming in the darkness. Magil had finished casting his spell of banishment while I was keeping the ghost busy. I saw a kid catch the blue current of magical energy with her blade and send it crashing into the ghost's forehead. Did I make it? My body slackened with relief as relief washed over me. Okay, I don't know. I didn't have time to read that, but I'm sure it was fine. Okay, so that actually turned out really, really well. Okay, so get the vault key. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, no, never mind. I haven't gotten the vault key. I was like, oh, I gotta go back to Lynx's room, but I have to get the vault key first. So I have to go to the study. I'm gonna say this, the emotes that Twitch has are ugly and tacky and downright, in my opinion, childish and juvenile. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of them either. I have my own emotes, because like I got them for Twitch, so when I get to the point where I can use them for YouTube, I'll already have them ready, which is nice. Oh, wait, not turn back. Oh my god, really? There's another random encounter? And I don't know if I've done this one before. We heard a faint whispering, as if a spell were being cast, and a faint light was emanating from a monster sitting crouched on the flagstones ahead. Oh, it's another demon. A long, bony finger traced strange shapes on the tiles. A demon. Okay, go. Just attack. Okay, it just disappeared. Okay, yeah, I've had that happen before too. Okay, so we have to go back because I accidentally turned back even though I want to go in. Talking about random encounters. Hello, I have arrived. Hello. Hello, Ricardo. How are you? Okay, this is not where I want to go. I won't disappear out of the blue, though. I appreciate that, Ricardo. I hope you don't. Yeah, so I was saying, like, I don't like the random encounters in this game because there's no strategy to it. Like, I think it just doesn't translate well to a game like this because you can't do anything. Like, you just have to choose something and hope that it works out. It's all chance. So Ricardo, I did just get another ending, and so now I'm on to the next ending. So this is the last ending in this game, like in-game, but there is another ending. So I have to go, but it's exclusive to the remaster, so I have to go into the game menu. Well, first of all, you have to beat Chrono Cross and Radical Dreamers and just get any ending in those, and then you go back into the game selection menu and then go to credits, let the credits roll, and then supposedly there's another ending. So in this ending, this might be the longest ending I have to do because the other ones, I mean, they took a long time to get, like longer than I expected. But this one, I think I have to like go through the entire game again. So we have 2 endings left. Yes. So I just got another ending right before this. So if you wanted to watch that one, it's like the first hour of the stream. So you could watch that one if you'd like, Ricardo, after I end the stream. It's like within the first hour. Okay, so passageway, because we need to go back into Lynx's room. I hope that new ending tells us something about a possible continuation. Like, fun fact. Yeah, I mean, I found the ending's pretty interesting. Like, I'm kind of, like, done with playing the game. Like, I just kind of want to move on. But I've been finding the endings pretty interesting. So I do want to get all of them. Okay, so for this ending, we had to go get the vault key, then come back to Lynx's room, and then according to this walkthrough, we have to finish the game. So it looks like we have to go through the entire game again, but it shouldn't be too difficult considering I'm not gonna like read everything out loud. I'm just gonna skip over everything I've already done, and then I know pretty much what to do now. Still nobody home. It didn't matter how many times we came here, I was never going to be able to shake the sense of unease this place gave me. In December 5th, 2001, Square registered a trademark called Chrono Break. That happened 21 years ago, so it was a little tiny while back. Yeah, just a little tiny while back. But since then, people have hoped for a 3rd entry in the Chrono series. Yeah, I'm still hoping for one. Maybe they'll do another one. Because you know what I've noticed lately is like this really big trend. I guess it's not so much with games. It's a little bit with games. But what I noticed lately with like TV shows and movies, oh, I think we've talked about this before too. With like TV shows and movies, there's this really big trend of rebooting or remaking old series and movies. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, people are just on a huge nostalgic trend now, I guess. But maybe they'll do it purely because, like, that's what people are wanting now. They want, like, that nostalgia, those nostalgic games to come back. I mean, maybe that's why they finally, like, did a remaster of Chrono Cross, is because that's what people are wanting. They want all these, like, old games back. Shall we try speaking to the mirror again? Kid and Mandel both nodded in response. I pulled the scarlet cloth away. There was already an image floating on the mirror's surface. That's this room, isn't it? Mandel stared intently around at the walls. That one. We set about examining the wall he pointed at. Okay, I'm gonna save again. Save over this one. But no matter how much we patted, tapped, and prodded, we couldn't get any part of it to budge. I don't understand, said Magil, crossing his arms in thought. Kid, meanwhile, was kicking the wall ferociously, her patience clearly having gotten the better of her. She had a tendency to resort to brute force when she didn't have any better idea how to solve a problem. Tendency? I mean, it's like 100% of the time she does that. Talking about these trends today, in the afternoon, I beat Metroid Dread. Took me like a month due to work and study getting a little bit in the way. Oh, nice. I think the only Metroid game I played was Super Metroid, the one on Super Nintendo, but I really like that game. I mean, not even really like it. I love that game. And also, Samus is an awesome character in Smash Brothers. Like, she's one of my top characters. And 9 times out of 10, this only served to make the problem even worse. Actually, you know what? I think Samus is my top character in Smash. I think I usually choose her. So in the very first Smash Brothers, like the N64 one, Pikachu was my number 1. But they changed Pikachu's moves after that, and I didn't like him as much anymore, so I started choosing Samus. Leave the poor wall alone, kid. Beating it up isn't going to help. Plus, the other thing I did not know about that Twitch does not even offer their own Roku app, but YouTube offers their own app for Roku Plus in most workplaces. Twitch is blocked on servers. Yeah. Yeah, Twitch is blocked on like my work computer, but I think YouTube is still allowed. Because like everybody uses YouTube. Like my work has a YouTube channel. And they have, you know, their own marketing department, and like YouTube is just everywhere. Like YouTube is like that's also another reason I went to YouTube, is like there's just more eyes on YouTube. Like there's 2 billion people on YouTube versus like, I don't know, like 45 million people on Twitch. So I mean, people keep telling me that like, well, just because there's more people on YouTube, it doesn't mean that more people are watching your streams. But it's not just about like people coming into my streams, it's also about like people watching my videos, because like I still do get views on my VODs, like my past streams, even though they're like 3 to 4 hours long. But once again, like people don't have to watch all of it, right? Like people can just skip around in the stream and like find the, you know, the things they want to watch. Even in like a 20-minute video, I might not watch all of that. I might just skip around and like see, you know, look at the part that I want to look at and then leave the video. I mean, everything will contribute to my watch hours. She glanced around sulkily, her eyes coming to rest on a quill pen. Fine, I'll tickle it instead. She grabbed the pen and started lightly brushing the feathery end against the surface of the wall. As soon as she did, the seemingly solid brickwork began to bulge and bend violently. What? So tickling it did work. Kid was as shocked as anyone, jumping back and shouting, "What the hell?" A low, stifled laugh I don't know how to pronounce this. Why are they giving me all these words I can't pronounce? Reverberated. I think that's how you pronounce that. Reverberated through the room. Wait, the wall is laughing? Let's see now. She tiptoed toward it again, feather outstretched, and tickled it ever so gently. And sure enough, it bent and buckled again, seemingly desperate to escape the torture. I understand, Wall. I'm also pretty ticklish, and I don't like being tickled. As it did so, the blocks ground against one another, and a sizable hole opened up in one corner with a shower of sandy dust. Wow, okay. That was lucky. You should beat Metroid Fusion. It's a little different as it tries to go for a horror, action, science fiction setting, making it more linear than Super. It ties to Super. Dread is super good as well. Okay. Maybe I'll do that next then. I don't know, because I don't know what game I'm gonna do next. I was considering Chrono Trigger, but I wasn't like 100% on it. And then I also have Far Cry 6. So yeah, I don't know. But it has been a really long time since I played Super Metroid, but I love that game. So I'm gonna write this down. And I have like a whole list on my phone of games. Where are my games list? Oh, there it is. Okay. Metroid Fusion and Metroid Dread. Okay, I have some games on here that I don't even remember what they were. We Were Here Forever. I don't even remember what that is. Tormented Souls. I don't even remember what that is either. Legend of Mana is on here. I do want to play that still. The only reason that I am able to watch you is because you're on YouTube. If you were still on Twitch, I couldn't even watch you. You're right, Twitch does hold you back. Yeah, like, and then, you know, like, even if you were on Twitch, Ben, you might still never have discovered me because Twitch's discoverability is so bad. And, I mean, like, this is something else I hear a lot, like, oh, you can't blame Twitch's discoverability if you're not you still have to be a good streamer, you still have to be a good content creator, you have to interact with your chat, make people come back, you have to network and all that stuff. And I mean, that's true, but like, it's also, you know, if discoverability didn't matter, then nobody would be talking about it. I mean, discoverability, it's just a tool, just like everybody else. You just want to equip yourself with the best tools and, you know, utilize them. You want to take advantage of it. So if YouTube has the better discoverability algorithm, I want to equip myself with that to give myself the best chance as a content creator. That's just like, you know, is like, they're just tools. Like, yes, you still have to be a good content creator, but like the YouTube discoverability, that's not going to work for you if your content is bad. If you're not, like, you still have to network, you still have to do all the things that you do if you were on Twitch, but you just have to, like, when you're on Twitch, you have to do it twice as much for like half the reward. And then with the time that I don't have to spend, like, I don't have to spend so much time, like, sending my link out on Twitter on all these, like, oh, let's grow together threads. Like, I can spend that time creating more content for YouTube and then having YouTube work for me, like having the algorithm work for me instead of the other way around. And plus, YouTube does come pre-installed on Android devices. Twitch is not. Twitch's discoverability is trash, plus it's counterintuitive to what you are wanting to do. Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, Twitch doesn't really have discoverability. They just rank people from highest number of viewers to lowest number of viewers. And there's no, like, that's why people keep saying, if you want to grow on Twitch, you have to create content somewhere else and then bring your audience over to Twitch. Because there's nothing you can do on Twitch. Like, there's no strategy on Twitch. But on YouTube, there's so many channels and strategies that you can look up. Like, if you literally just type in the search bar of YouTube, like, how to grow my YouTube channel, there's so many strategies because you can work the system of YouTube. Like, it has a system. It's got an algorithm that, like, you can take advantage of, but Twitch doesn't even have that. That's why you can't even, like, you have to go to another platform to even grow on Twitch, which doesn't really make that much sense to me. The wall had fallen away, leaving a gap just about big enough for a person to pass through. Well, that's one way to hide a doorway, said Kid, kicking at the pile of debris that had accumulated at our feet. We went through the newly revealed opening. We decided to leave. No, we can't leave because this is a different thing happening from the main game. We stepped cautiously through the opening into the space beyond. And we're gonna save, just to make sure. You don't have to have your hand up in the air, say, I'm here, come watch me, I'm on Twitch. Yeah, exactly, like, it's like, you have to spend so much time trying to get your name out there when you're on Twitch. And, like, I would spend, like, all day trying to network, trying to spam my link somewhere. Whereas, like, now that I'm on YouTube, I can, like, go about my life and I can let, like, the YouTube search algorithm work for me. YouTube has a lot less to lose than Twitch does. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, Twitch is just a bigger platform, and the whole thing with, like, ads on Twitch too. Like, Twitch, first of all, I don't know if it's like they can't figure it out or they just, like, don't care, but, like, they're really pushing ads. And then that news that came out like a month ago where they were talking about taking 50-50 of all subs. There was also a whole thing about ads, like, oh, they want to push more ads. And it's not, like, them wanting to have ads is not wrong, right? Like, they have to run a platform, it's expensive, they're a business, they have to make money. But it's like, how did a platform like YouTube, who is a much bigger platform than you are, how did they figure it out and you didn't? It's like you have to send up smoke signals in order to be recognized on Twitch. Yeah, exactly. And it's like on YouTube, as long as you make good content and people like your content and they like you and they want to come back to watch you, YouTube will recognize that. But when you're on Twitch, like, you could be like the best content creator ever and you would never be discovered. I guess that's also possible on YouTube, but it's just like on YouTube, like, you just have a better chance. Like I was saying about the algorithm, it's just a tool. Like, you just want to give yourself, especially as a small content creator, you want to give yourself the best chance. We step cautiously through the opening into the space beyond. Not exactly feature-filled as rooms go, eh? Kid wasn't wrong, the place was completely bare. There's literally nothing here. There was no furniture, no fixtures of any kind, not even a window. It was spacious, but devoid of ornament as a prison cell. That is, except for a large stone slab in the center. What do we have here? Kid muttered, bending down toward the stone as if something had caught her attention. I mean, wouldn't the large stone slab in the center catch her attention if that's the only thing in the room? I went over to see what she was looking at. I spoke to Magil. I started searching around elsewhere in the room. Okay, I'm gonna save here. Save here. Okay, so I want to see what each of these choices do. So let's go see what she's looking at first. What is it, kid? I walked over to the center of the room to get a closer look. As I approached, I saw that there was some kind of crystal embedded in the middle of the slab. I stepped up next to Kid to get a better view. What do you make of it, kid? Reckon it must have something to do with these symbols carved all over the stone. Shame I can't read the bloody things. I examined the slab, I examined the crystal, I examined Kid. What? Okay, so we're gonna save again, because I also want to see what all of these do. Okay, examine the slab. The large rectangular slab lay flat in the center of the room like some sort of broad pedestal. As Kid had pointed out, its surface was covered with strange markings that had to be letters of some kind. And in the middle of it all was a spherical crystal, the bottom half of which was embedded in the stone beneath. We need to know what it says. Madge'll probably be able to figure it out, eh? I mean, I can guess enough to know it's probably something about how super important the crystal is or whatever. Come to mention, it's probably worth a bob or two, eh? Having realized this, she reached her hand out toward it. As she touched it, it seemed almost to glow for a brief moment, and then everything went white. Oh. We opened our eyes to find ourselves in an arena? What the? Don't ask me, mate. I'm as clueless as you are for once. Kid was clearly no less surprised than me, but seriously, what exactly was going on? Wherever we were, only she and I had made it there. Where's Magil? Beats me. I haven't got a bloody clue what's going on here. Unless we got, I don't know, magicked away somewhere? Or when you say magicked, well, like, there might have been a spell that magics whatever is on top of that slab off somewhere else when you touch the crystal thingy. I mean, you know what? Like, Kid makes a lot of sense. Which would explain why Madge didn't make it along for the ride. Yeah, that makes sense. That's what I said. So no Madge, huh? Afraid so. Can we go over this magicking away business again? So where are we? So what are we going to do? Okay, so... well, what we are going to do is we're actually going to get out of here and then restart because I want to see what those other choices do. YouTube's audience dwarfs and will eat the only thing Twitch for lunch for every user Twitch has. YouTube still has more users on a daily basis than Twitch. Pokemon said when Ludwig left that Twitch has a lot less to lose than YouTube does. Yeah, YouTube definitely has way more users than Twitch. And I get a lot of people saying like, well, just because YouTube has more users, it doesn't mean more users are watching streams on YouTube. But like, in my experience, people who aren't going to watch streams on YouTube are just like not into live streams anyway. Like there are a few people who are just like, I just don't want to watch streams on YouTube, and they'll only watch streams on Twitch. But for the most part, I find that like people, if you're into like live streaming at all, you'll know that like YouTube also has live streaming. And then like it's like the really big streamers on YouTube get 30 to 50,000 people per stream. So it's like people are obviously watching streams on YouTube. And then like some like big events too, like the Game Awards, they had more people watching on YouTube than on Twitch. Okay, so first we're gonna look at the slab again because we had more choices. Oh, I thought we had more choices. Okay, hold on. Let me go back. Let me reload. Go back. I thought once I examined the slab, I thought there was another choice I had. But maybe not. Okay, so let's examine the crystal. The crystal was embedded in the center of the slab. It was spherical, and only the top half of it was visible, the rest being embedded in the slab surface. The slab itself was engraved with peculiar markings of a kind I've never seen before, and the area surrounding the crystal featured more engraved symbols in a circle. That's a beautiful crystal. Yeah, look at the size of it, and nothing glitters like that if it ain't worth a pretty penny. Could be well worth nicking. Having realized this, she reached her hand out toward it. As she touched it, it seemed almost to glow for a brief moment. Okay, so the same thing happened. Okay, so we're gonna reload again. And then there was another choice there. And then after that, we're gonna reload the other save and see what happens. Because I could either look at what Kid was looking at, talk to Magil, or look around the room. So I want to do that too. I examined Kid. Kid. What are you staring at? I didn't get to stare for much longer. I was too busy reeling from a stinging left hook. Ow. I sniffled sorrowfully for a moment. Okay, that's all that happens. Okay, so we're gonna restart and then go back into the room. We on YouTube may not have TwitchCon, but there's one thing we do have is a common understanding for one another. Also have our own event called VidCon. Oh yeah, so vidIQ, which is this like big channel I follow about like, and it helps people grow their streams. So there's a whole team of people on YouTube on vidIQ, and all they do is like coach people on how to grow their YouTube streams. So like I was saying, like there's a system on YouTube that you can work with, and there's a whole team of people. I mean, there's a ton of channels on YouTube about growing your stream, but in this particular instance, vidIQ is a whole team of people that all they do is teach people how to work the YouTube system better to grow their channels. So anyway, vidIQ, they're going to be at VidCon. So that's how I heard about VidCon was my point, is that I didn't know about VidCon, but you know what? Like if YouTube streaming seems to only be getting better. So if YouTube streaming really blows up, I mean, who knows? They might have their own like YouTube streaming event. Okay, so let's talk to Magil. I turned to get Magil's attention, but saw that he had his eyes closed and was reciting a detection spell. I was better off not disturbing him. Okay, so that choice just brings me back to the other choices, which is good. So I'm gonna save there, just so we know we eliminated that choice. I started searching elsewhere in the room. I surveyed my surroundings, but nothing jumped out at me in particular. Kid was crouched in the middle of the room investigating something, while Magil stood there with his eyes closed, reciting a detection spell. Okay, I mean, oof. Like, why? You can wait outside. Okay, so let's save again here. So why even put these choices in here if they just bring you back? Let's wait outside and see what happens. Just as I was leaving, something in the center of the room gave a flash of light. Before I realized it, Kid had vanished. What was going on? How could she just vanish? Okay, so if you try to wait outside, Kid touches the crystal and she vanishes. You don't go with her. I looked to Magil for answers. He said nothing, and instead walked over to the slab in the middle of the room and gave it a good hard stare. Madge, what's going on here? It seems she was teleported somewhere. Teleported? Yes, magicked away if that helps. Look, touching this crystal makes whatever is on top of the stone slab disappear. I approached the slab and saw it did indeed have a crystal embedded in it. The slab itself was covered in engraved lettering of a kind I had never seen before. Plus, TwitchCon is very overrated. Oh, is it? I mean, I've never been to it. So where is she? That is the question. Wherever she is, we cannot leave her to fend for herself. With that, Magil stepped up onto the slab and moved his hand toward the crystal. I will go help her. You wait here. You want me to just wait while she's... But he touched the crystal before I could finish. Gave off a powerful flash of light, and he was gone. Oh. Now this is interesting. Okay, so... I guess I'll save in this one, because these are my two saves for the other choices. Okay, so let's try leaving first. Was I really going to leave? There were no guarantees I'd be safe there in the room, but it was a lot safer than outside. Or to put it another way, I would have been dead in a minute in that trap-filled mansion on my own. And if I got caught by Lynx's cronies on the way out, I'd be dead even quicker. I didn't have a snowball's chance in hell of escaping the manor alone. After a bit of thought, I realized that leaving the room wasn't as good an idea as it had seemed at first, and I was worried about Kid and Magil too. Okay, so I guess if you try to leave, you just can't. Okay, let's just wait and see what happens. I decided to wait just as Magil told me. The room filled with an unsettling silence. I started to get nervous about being discovered by guards. Keep waiting. I decided to wait. I wonder if Magil and Kid are okay. Had they really just been magicked away somewhere? Dark thoughts crossed my mind about a soul-sucking crystal that vaporized its victims. No, that's silly. Magil didn't hesitate to touch the crystal, so he must have been sure about what he was doing. It also occurred to me that Magil could probably read the engraved lettering. Guess I will go after them. No, I should wait. Okay, let's just keep waiting. Wonder if Kid and Magil are okay. Wait. What was I going to do? I waited. For every streamer that leaves Twitch for YouTube means less users and eyeballs on your platform. And from what my understanding is that TwitchCon is a very clicky event. Oh yeah? I mean, Twitch as a platform is pretty, clicky. Maybe they died. No, they're definitely coming back. Maybe they got sent somewhere else in the manor and can't get back here. Maybe I'm better off not thinking about things too much. No, they're definitely coming back. I trusted Kid and Magil. I knew they'd come back soon. I just had to believe in them. I spent a long time sitting there and fidgeting. Suddenly, the crystal pulsed with light. When the light died down, I saw my two friends standing there. Kid, Magil. I ran over to them as soon as they appeared. I'm so glad you're back. I was so worried. What are you crying for? You're not the one that got magicked away. Was I crying? I guess I was. We had hell of a time on the other side, I'm telling you. I'm bloody knackered. I took a better look at them and realized she was right. They both looked exhausted. What happened? Oh, just fighting giant monsters in an arena somewhere where it was the middle of the day. What? At least we got something out of it. Kid moved her hand toward the crystal. Don't touch it. But nothing happened this time. She was able to pull it out of the slab with ease. Bingo. Right, boys, I reckon we're done here. Let's go someplace else. She left the room and Magil followed quickly after. I lingered for a moment, feeling completely left out of the loop. Okay, so that's interesting. So you don't have to go at all. So I'm gonna reload. I just wanted to see what would happen. But now I want to go into the arena and see what happens. We on YouTube are more grounded and more down to earth. Yeah, I mean, people definitely seem like they're happier. Okay, let's reload this save. Okay, examine the slab. I think this one, Kid touches the crystal. Ugh, God, God, there's so many flies lately. And especially like when I'm streaming, I turn off all the lights off in this room, except for the lights that are around me, so all the flies are attracted to like where my desk is. So they're always flying in front of my face. God. Okay, so why did I go with her though, if she's the only one that touched it? We opened our eyes to find ourselves in an arena? Okay, so this time I'm gonna save over this save. What the? Don't ask me, mate. I'm as clueless as you are for once. Kid was clearly no less surprised than me. But seriously, what exactly was going on? Wherever we were, only she and I had made it there. Where's Magil? Beats me. Oh, I already read this. Okay, so we're just gonna skip past some of this. Can we go over this magicking away business again? So where are we? So what are we gonna do? So what are we gonna do? So what do we do now? What do? We gotta get out of this creepy arena, that's what. Kid examined our surroundings. This whole place feels fake. To start with, I'm pretty sure it wasn't the middle of the bloody day when we left. This has got to be an illusion. An illusion? Yeah, wherever we are, it doesn't exist in the real world. Whoever set this up must be one heck of an illusionist. Hehehehe. Just at that moment, a self-satisfied chuckle floated to us on the air. Who's there? Kid? ... Who's there? Who's there? Show yourself. I shouted loud enough that you could have heard me all the way over on the other side of the arena. But my challenge was met with silence. We looked around, and then a figure appeared in the entrance tunnel on the opposite side from us. Who the heck are you? It was Kid's turn to shout. I bid you welcome to the Colosseum. The figure's voice rang out across the space between us. I ran toward whoever it was. I stayed quiet. I shouted, "Who are you?" Who are you? Shout, who are you? I wanted to bravely demand who we were dealing with, but my voice failed me. Grrr. It also seemed to have been struck dumb and could only growl warily. Please, you need not be so flustered. I only ask that you hear me out. But first, an introduction. I'm Ganju, Master of Mysteries. And this, as you correctly surmised, my dear, is a place of illusions. So saying, he proceeded to levitate, floating at around head height above the ground. The Colosseum, as you may have guessed, is a battleground. Only those who emerge victorious are able to return to the world from whence they came. What? And on this momentous occasion, friends, the illusionist pointed at Kid and then at me, you will be fighting one another. Only the victor will be permitted to return to the mortal realm. Well, any questions? Who says you get to make all the rules? Me fight Kid? ... Who says you get to make all the rules? I wasn't about to just blindly go along with whatever this Ganju character said. Why would I need to fight Kid? Why should I? Because you are in the Colosseum, and if you wish to leave, you must abide by its rules. I've been searching for someone truly mighty. What? Now, to battle. You must not keep your audience waiting any longer. As soon as he said this, the stands, which I could have sworn were empty a moment earlier, erupted with a deafening roar. Roar! But you are hardly dressed for the occasion, either of you. Let us see now. And suddenly we had both changed clothes. The greatest showdown of our time awaits. Surge, the gladiator's gladiator, versus Kid, the walking weapon. Let the games commence. And with that, he vanished. What the bloody hell's... Ah! So that's interesting. That when Kid and Magil touched the crystal and then they came back, Kid said that they were fighting giant monsters. But then now with me and Kid, we have to fight each other. Kid suddenly erupted with a bright white glow. Nah! Light bathed her entire body as it grew in an instant to an enormous size. What? When the light finally subsided, a giant, heavily muscled Cyclops stood where Kid had been only moments earlier. I looked down to see that a sword had appeared in my right hand and a shield in my left, and that I really was dressed like a gladiator. I suddenly felt my body suffused with enormous strength. Rawr! Our competitors' preparations are complete. The illusionist's voice rang out over the roars of the crowd. Now, fight! Kid, while the Cyclops glared at me with a single massive eye. I stood and fought. I turned and ran. I tried to talk to her. I don't know. I don't really want to fight her. That's Kid. Try to talk? Kid, are you alright? Kid! I did my best to get through to her, but the walking weapon persona seemed to be in full effect. Are you in there? Can you hear me? I bellowed at the now enormous Kid as loud as I could. For a moment, the creature, stopped in its tracks. She stiffened for a moment, then gave a deafening roar. Roar! And then, the next thing I knew, the creature's enormous fist was sailing down through the air toward me. Kablam! I only just managed to get out of the way in time. Kid! I tried to reach her, but the Cyclops' eye just glowed with mindless menace as it turned to focus on me again. Okay, so there's no talking to her. I think we're gonna have to fight. I stood and fought. I tried lifting the sword I held in my right hand. What the? I feel so strong. Normally, I wouldn't have been able to handle a sword like this with 2 hands, let alone 1. But here I was, able to swing it just as easily as I could wield a knife. I charged into battle, leaping at the giant's feet. I swung my sword at an exposed big toe. Arrgh! I gave a great cry of pain. Okay, this time let's run. The Cyclops lifted its fist and brought it down with mind-blowing force. Arrgh! My legs shuddered with the impact of the beast's ear-splitting cry, but I summoned every ounce of strength I had and made a run for it. Crash! The Cyclops' fist smashed into the ground, but somehow I managed to spin to one side, just avoiding the blow. Okay, I guess we'll fight. The giant's fist plummeted down from overhead like a meteorite. Whong! A dull shock shot through my left arm. I just managed to catch the punch in time with my shield. My feet slid along the ground, leaving small mounds of sand behind them, but my shield and my body stood fast against the blow. When did I get so strong? Power was welling up within me. I gave its outstretched arm a good slice with my sword just because I could. Fight! I compressed my body like a spring, building up strength, then leapt up with all my might. I couldn't believe it. I was flying through the air, just like Magil. No, better than Magil. Woohoo, here I come! An awesome power welled up inside me, and with it, a sense of satisfaction, almost joy. I plunged my sword into the giant's shoulder, bringing the full power of my rippling muscles to bear. Rawr! Its legs buckled, and it collapsed to its knees in pain. I guess we'll fight again. I mean, she's trying to fight me. I ran toward the giant, then leapt at it to get in close. Its chest was wide open. I swung my blade with all the strength I could muster. Whoosh! My sword left a gaping wound in its wake. I was completely overwhelming the Cyclops. The monster was covered in cuts and lacerations. It was struggling and could barely stand, panting heavily as it crouched on the ground, holding itself up with one shaking hand. Ha ha ha, ha 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 ha, I'm winning! Who said I'm winning? Did I say that? Okay, let's run this time. I ran away from the Cyclops as fast as my legs could carry me. Ah! I was running for my life, I thought, so I might as well scream. The giant turned around, then followed after me with slow, lumbering footsteps. When I made it to the other side of the arena, I collapsed against the wall, panting for breath. From somewhere nearby, I heard the illusionist's voice. Running won't help, boy. Okay, I guess we have to fight. I threw my shield to the ground and took my sword in both hands. I was so powerful. This newfound strength was intoxicating. The giant was reeling from my onslaught. I was going to win. I was going to beat an actual Cyclops, me. I tightened my grip, and as I did so, even more power welled up inside me. I prepared to make the most of this final surge of strength. I jumped up high, holding my sword aloft to deal the finishing blow. Chang! Something flicked away my blade before I could stab the giant in the eye. There's no way I could have parried that. Who was interfering? I looked up. Magil. There he was, holding a long, curved sword. What are you doing? What are you doing? Have you forgotten that this is Kid? I mean, no, not exactly, but she's trying to kill me. I stared blankly at Magil. What are you doing here? You're in my way. Thank you, Madge. What are we supposed to do with Kid like this? What are we supposed to do with Kid like this? If Kid dies like this, I mean, if the Cyclops or whatever dies like this... Magil slapped me across the cheek. Get a hold of yourself. His emotionless voice helped me bring me back down to earth. That's still Kid in there, an even more troublesome version than usual, but Kid nonetheless. Magil braced himself for battle. All was quiet as he stared the creature down. Suddenly, all the life faded from the Cyclops' eye. Thud! The ground shook as its massive body fell to the ground. Huh? And then Ganju's voice floated to us out of nowhere. It seems someone else has joined us here. Very well, very well. I had been wondering if it might be time to bring proceedings to an end. And then there he was in front of us again. Now, beloved patrons of the Colosseum, lift your voices in appreciation of the stunning spectacle these brave warriors have blessed us with today. Yeah! An enormous roar went up from the stalls, though I still had the odd feeling that they were entirely empty. Well, if he's an illusionist, then he probably can make the illusion of sound. Now then, as he said this, the great Cyclops' body began to glow a brilliant white. It was so bright that I could barely see, and when the light faded, Kid was lying there in front of us. The wounds I had inflicted were gone. I breathed a sigh of relief at that. My wounds were mostly healed, and I'd returned to my usual appearance. I really did enjoy every moment of that, truly. The showdown between the gladiator's gladiator and the walking weapon was every bit as electrifying as I had imagined. But I must confess that Serge does not seem to possess the fortitude I had been seeking. Perhaps the strength I bestowed upon him was too great a responsibility to bear. Yanju looked toward Magil. That said, you are a truly intriguing little band of rogues. Now let us return to your own world, all three of you. As soon as the words had passed Ganju's lips, everything went a brilliant white once more. Okay, that was really weird and random. When the light subsided, we looked around to see that we were back in the secret chamber behind Lynx's room. What the hell just happened? Who knows? I felt like I had just woken up after a big night at the Laughing Pig. Kid was coming around. Hey, Kid, are you alright? Kid, how are you feeling? Well, what the hell happened? Did I just have the weirdest dream of me life? She soon recovered her composure and began looking around the room. Ah! Kid, what's wrong? The bloody crystal's gone, that's what's wrong. She was right, the crystal that had been embedded in the slab had vanished. Well, where's it bloody gone? Don't ask me. Well, that's just bloody lovely, ain't it? Nothing to show after all that trouble. Interesting. So if I hadn't touched the crystal and gone to the arena, it still would have been there. Because when I stayed behind and I waited for them, Kid and Magil came back and Kid was able to take the crystal out. So why would it be gone now, like, that the three of us went? Maybe it used up all the crystal's power or something? She stood up with a dejected sigh. Well, that was a bust. Let's get out of here. We followed her out of the room. I wonder if she even remembered what had happened in the illusory arena. Illusory. Is that a word? I mean, she probably does. Like, if me and Magil remember, why would she not remember? We joined Kid back in Lynx's room. As soon as we had all stepped back through the hole in the wall, the pile of sand stirred to life as if it had been awaiting our return and flowed back to fill the cavity. Settled in place and hardened. To look at it, you'd think it was the same solid wall that had greeted us when we first entered. When Kid rapped her knuckles on the place where the hole had been, all she got for her efforts was a cold, dead thud. She shrugged. Well, looks like we're about done here, boys, shall we? And with that, we left Lynx's room behind us. Okay, that was really weird. I mean, what was the point of that? Okay, so we're definitely gonna save now. Just save over this one. Okay, so I guess now I just have to finish the game. Okay, so since I have the key to the treasure room, I'll go there first. I think I have to go toward the terrace. Okay, yeah, this is the treasure room. Okay, so I think, unless I come to, like, a different choice, I think I'll just use the same save. But, I mean, according to this guide, it just says, fall asleep, rush after Kid and Magil, go to the treasure vault, get the vault key, then go back to Lynx's room, and then after the scene, finish the game. Okay, so, well, let me make sure I'm doing this right. So I'm just gonna look up another walkthrough real quick and make sure that this is, I need to, like, go finish the game again. So this one is called the Mystery Mega Weapon. Okay. Yeah, so I guess I do have to just go ahead and finish the game. Okay. Well, it shouldn't take as long because I'm just gonna skip over all the stuff I read before. And we already know what to do now. Kind of. I mean, I don't really remember. I don't think I remember, like, 100% what we have to do, but I should figure it out pretty quickly. Alright, so after this, I just have to do the little credits ending. Okay, so this is where I had to fight those 5 goblins that I had so much trouble with. So I'm gonna save. So this was the hardest fight because there were 5 goblins, I think, 4 or 5. And then I was like really badly injured the last time or not the last time, but no, it was the last time because I haven't been in here doing this. I think I was in here for some other ending, but something different happened. So let's just say the first ending that I was getting, I was really badly hurt and I could only take like 1 or 2 hits before I died, and these goblins were like really hard because there were 4 or 5 of them, and then, like I said before, like, there's no strategy here. Like, you just have to pick something and hope that it works out. Hey, Rebecca. Hey, Aaron. How are you? Thank you so much for coming in. How's your weekend been? So, Aaron, we are going to, get the rest of the endings tonight. I'm actually on the last ending right now in-game, but what I read was that there's another ending that's exclusive to the remaster. So you have to beat Chrono Cross and Radical Dreamers and get any ending, And then once you're back in the game selection menu, you have to roll the credit, like hit credits, let the credits roll, and then apparently there's an ending after that. But I did just get another ending within like the first hour of this stream. I had gotten another ending. But I only had 2 left, like, in-game. Because the endings were taking a lot longer than I was expecting last night. So for this ending, I just went through, like, a whole new scene. But then I still have to finish the game. But hopefully it won't take too long, because like, I'm just gonna skip over all the stuff without reading. Unless something new happens. Really? See, I just got hit twice. Okay, and then trying to attack, that didn't work. Okay, well, I mean, I made it through way quicker than I did last time. But I was able to take more hits this time too, because I don't think I was hurt. Okay, the metal plate. Right, so this has to go to the mouth of truth. Okay, so I'm not going to just, like, go wandering around like I did last time and... Or not last time, but, you know, the first time. And like go into every room, because we don't need to do that. We're just trying to finish the game here. I'm just getting home from my sister's house, but it was a good time. Thought I'd drop in. I appreciate that, Erin. Oh, awesome. I can't wait to see the last ending. Yeah, I mean, they've been pretty interesting, to be honest. Like, really, another random encounter. There's been a lot of random encounters. So, I mean, I'm kind of ready to move on from this game, but I think the endings have been quite interesting. Oh, great, I died. So what did you do at your sister's house, Erin? Any other weekend plans? Okay, so, I mean, I was talking about this earlier, but I really don't like these random encounters in this game. Okay, so this is the clockwork room. So maybe I'll go in here because that old lady can heal me. Because I think I can only take one hit now before I die. And I think she only heals you if you tell her the truth. Okay, so just tell her she was right. And then I think that makes this conversation go faster. Okay, wait a minute. So she said kid came here when she was like 10 or 11, and that was like 4 or 5 years ago. So kid is 16 currently. So that means Serge did meet her when she was like 13. Oh. And then, okay, I didn't think about this in the original ending, but this old lady said, if you want to triumph, if you wish to triumph, you will have to let go of a treasure of your own. And she's talking about the time egg. Because Kid did have to give it up to save Serge. Yes. I mean the heal. Okay, so the random encounters might not be that bad if they gave you more opportunities for healing, but they don't. The only way I found to heal was the old lady, and then having a random encounter and getting like a bag of meat from a random encounter. But that doesn't always work. Because, like, you don't always get... I actually, like, haven't gotten, Okay, I think we need to turn back. I think I need to go the other way. I actually haven't gotten one of those bags of meat from a random encounter in, like, a really long time. And then the only other ways I've found to heal are in the kitchen and the tea the goblin in the guard room gives you. But those are on, like, those are right after one another for some reason. The tea and the kitchen are right after one another, or they're right next to each other. So it's like, why not space them out? I will say, I think it is impressive, like, how much they spent on the writing of this, because there's a lot of scenarios you could go through, depending on, like, when you go into which rooms, and then with all these, like, different endings and stuff. Okay, so the Mouth of Truth is here too. Okay, there we go. Found the Mouth of Truth. Okay, so I have to give him the plate. An enchanted statue that can tell when you're lying. If it catches you out, it'll bite your hand off. Okay. Interesting, because you have to give him a hand-shaped plate. So the writing of this is, it's pretty, like, it's also good and with its, like, continuity. Because going through this again, I'm noticing things I didn't notice before. Like, with the old lady saying, you have to give up a treasure of your own kid if you want to triumph. And that meant she has to give up the time egg in order to save Surge, which we didn't even know she had the time egg until the end. And then the bad ending, which I didn't get, but I watched it on YouTube, and it's just Surge dying. Like, it's just Link's killing Surge, because if you don't get Kid to like you enough, she won't give up the time egg to save you. And then, like, Surge will just die. Which is a pretty bad ending. Even from her braid. So why is she taking stuff out from her braid? Like, what was she keeping her braid? That seems like a very bad place to store something. Okay, so out of all the things she has, small silver mirror, a file, a centipede, a tube of lipstick, some dried grapes. Okay, I know the centipede, like, I chose this before. It's not real. Like a toy centipede. Length of fine thread, a sizable petard, which I still don't know what that meant. I think it was some sort of explosive. A vellum scroll. Okay, so the only thing I could see her keeping in her braid is the thread. Like, her hair would not hold any of these other things. And I definitely would not want a centipede, even a toy centipede, in my hair. Okay, so we give him the plate. So, I'm wondering if in the kitchen, so I freed the mouse, which turned into a griffin that tried to kill me, but then it ended up being too hungry and was like really weak and couldn't fight, and then was like, oh, please spare my life and I'll tell you some information. And then he told me how to get past the trap. So I'm wondering if you don't do that, if you like never find out how to get through the trap. But I mean, I'm just gonna go for it just in case, because I don't want to get through to this ending. Okay, what? How did we get into a random encounter already? Okay, Magil just cast a spell at it. That's the first time that's happened. Okay, I watched the demon carefully, keeping a tight grip on my knife. Then again, I'm not sure if I've ever done this before. Magil didn't waste a moment and let rip with a spell. A ball of flame slammed into the creature. I could smell the stench of burnt flesh. The demon's eyes reddened and it bared its fangs. Cursed whispers filled the air. It was casting a spell. Took a defensive stance. I bravely slashed at it with my knife. It seems like it's in a vulnerable position. Okay, so I guess I didn't have enough time. Okay. Just attack while it's in a vulnerable position. Leave this to me, I yelled at exactly the same time as Kid. I slipped around to the left side of the demon as it swung its scythe down. Whoosh! The blade sliced the air a hair's breadth from my nose. A single moment later and I'd have no nose left to speak of. Kid took advantage while the demon was focused on me and moved to stab it full in the back. The creature let out a grotesque howl and collapsed to the floor. Did you plan to be the decoy so I could finish you off, or was that just a coincidence? Either way, it did the trick. Kid beamed with pride. The demon's blue blood pooled on the floor as it lay there, writhing in pain. Its face contorted with agony, it glared at us and began tracing strange shapes on the ground with the last of its strength. Kid sensed that something wicked was afoot. Just die already, will ya? But the demon carried on writing, strange shapes forming from its blood. Okay, I feel like at this point, you should just run in there and make sure that he dies, like right now. Cut off his hand or something, make sure he can't write anymore. An eerie light illuminated the hastily scrawled curse, and then there was a flash. Lightning like bolts of energy danced around my feet. Kid, who was standing right next to the demon, jumped back with a start, and then it started drawing even more of the strange symbols. She took advantage while the creature was still concentrating. She twisted her body, stretched out a leg, and swung it in a graceful arc right into the demon's belly. With a final gasp, it collapsed on top of its unfinished text, and at last it lay still. Okay, there are definitely more random encounters. Like, I just don't understand why it's, like, programmed this way. Because if anything, it's, like, more annoying to have to go through more random encounters when you're just trying to get all the endings. Okay, I forgot what direction the guard room and the kitchen is. Left? Oh, this is the dungeon. Okay, so we have to go to the other side. Wait, there were stairs here? I don't remember this. What? Oh, I think this is the kitchen. And the guard room. Yeah, this is the kitchen. And I might as well heal because I did get hurt. Okay, take the stew. I wonder if I say if it was revolting, what happens? I don't want to get hurt, though. Okay, we're gonna save here. Ugh, that's horrible, I spat, screwing my face up with revulsion. Is it now? Well, all yours then, said Kid, immediately moving on to check out something else. Hehehe, more for me. Suddenly, a little voice rang out. You there, the young man with the braid. Okay, wait, so... Okay, let me reload that, because I think it didn't heal me. So I guess if I lie, it means it doesn't heal me. Okay, yeah, it only heals me if I say it was good. Okay, so let's save over that. Because I want to see what happens if I leave the mouse in the cage. Left the mouse to its fate. Sorry, we've got things to do, I mumbled, following after Kid. I promised myself I'd come back this way later on and free the poor little thing if I could. Okay, so nothing really happened, except you just left him in the cage. So I'm gonna go back and free him just in case that information affects me going through that trap. Okay, I said this last time I was in the kitchen, but I'm gonna say it again because just for like emphasis. Like is this not like the weirdest looking kitchen? Like, is that the sink? Because it's really weird. So like really weirdly shaped and like low to the ground. And then is that the pot of stew next to the sink? Because that's a very strange pot. Like, what is it standing on? Okay, so I did this the first time, and the mouse turns into a griffin, tries to attack us, is too hungry and too weak. Duck. Okay, so I already have that written down in my phone. I never deleted that note. So just in case we needed that information, I went and got it. Okay, this is the guard room. Okay, so actually, you know what? This is good because I'm gonna save here. Because last time I made some dialogue choices that didn't really seem to matter, but I want to see what happens this time. So this was the nice goblin that just like talks to us and gives us tea. His name was like Grimeld or something. Grismeld. We'll look to Kid because we sat down next to Magil last time. Confused by how at home Magil seemed, I looked to Kid. She remained where she was, seemingly unsure what to make of the goblin, but apparently quite sure she wasn't going to sit down. I decided to stay standing as well. The goblin poured 3 cups of tea. There you are. Without the slightest hint of hesitation, Magil took the teacup and lifted it to his lips. He sipped, then placed the cup back on its saucer. Myelin tea. Not a blend I'd expect to find here. Okay, so last time I did drink the tea and Serge said it was good and it healed me, but this time I'm going to refuse the tea just because that's something different than I did last time. As much as I wanted the tea, I had to refuse. I had to stay strong, but the warm aroma of the tea was caressing my nostrils. I could feel myself giving in to its allure. I glanced over at Kid and saw that she'd already sat down without me noticing. Couldn't allow myself to drink the tea. Not Kid too, I thought, but I couldn't let myself drink the tea. There had to be something in it, surely. Now that we're comfortable, let's get down to brass tacks, as they say. I do indeed have the key to the dungeon, as you surmise, but you will also be aware I cannot simply give it away. Okay, so I said this last time. I suppose that means you want something in return, so I'll say, here's our offer, give us the key and you get to live. Give us the key and you get to live, I said, trying to sound as threatening as I could. If you kill me, you'll never find out where it is, while you could spend all night looking and never find it. It was clear from his answer that he wasn't hugely intimidated. I guess when it came to looking tough and talking tougher, I was no match for Kid. Alright, what do you want? I showed him my secret photograph of Kid. What? Okay, we're gonna save here, because what are these choices? I'm gonna do this one. I showed him my secret photograph of Kid. I sidled around to Grismeld and pulled out the photograph with an artful flick. How about a trade? I whispered in his ear. I'm sorry, but I must decline your offer. This treasure would clearly bring more trouble than enjoyment. It was clear he wasn't going for it. Besides, it is not material gains that I seek. What then? What do you want? You'd like to know what I want? I want your heads. Okay. I know he was joking then because he made that joke last time. So we're gonna reload and choose the other dialogue choice, which I already forgot what it was, but I know that I could only make one dialogue choice, and I did not make the other. Alright, what do you want? Okay, I guess that just skips all that. Okay, so he wants to hear a story. And so last time I told him a story that he didn't really like, so I'm gonna go for the other story. Okay, so one night a girl was walking alone in the forest. I chose the first one this time, so this time I'm gonna choose she was out hunting for bugs. What was next again? She caught a beetle and painted it gold. Her family was very poor. Her family was very poor. The fragments I remembered seemed about right. I had a rough handle on how the ending would go. I took a breath and began my tale. One night, a young girl was walking alone in the forest. She was out hunting for bugs. Her family was very poor, and the girl was trying her best to get by. The next morning, she set off into town to sell her catch. When she got there, she sold the single beetle she'd managed to find to an innkeeper and bought a bouquet of lovely flowers with the money she had made. She took the flowers and placed them on her mother's grave, which stood in a beautiful spot overlooking a lake. That was beautiful, murmured Kid, wiping a tear from her eye. Grismeld frowned, not quite what I was expecting and not the most riveting of tales, but I suppose it will do. He said that last time! Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Again, we're gonna reload and try the different story because there were a few different choices. So I could have chosen painting the beetle gold. So I'm gonna try that one. I wonder if he just says that no matter what story you tell him. Okay, so we'll do the hunting for bugs again and then caught a beetle and painted it gold. One night, a young girl was walking alone in the forest. She was out hunting for bugs. She caught a beetle and painted it gold. The next morning, she set off into town to sell her catch. On her way there, she met some travelers and convinced them that the creature she carried was the fabled Beetle of Fortune. She sold it to them for an eye-watering price. Rich at last, the girl and her mother lived happily ever after. Hey, sir, the girl's name wouldn't happen to be Kid, would it? My blood froze at the quiet threat in the voice behind me. What? I'm just making this up as I go along. Don't tell me you actually did all that stuff. The moment I turned around, I found my neck caught in Kid's hands. How did you find out? How? I couldn't answer her. I couldn't even breathe. I braced myself for a slap across the cheek, but before it came, Grismeld called out to stop her. He whispered a few words in her ear, then handed her a small bag. Her eyes glinted like stars, and she looked very pleased with herself indeed. Okay. Kid turned to me and Magil. Right, let's hurry up and kill Lynx so we can have some of this here tea. So Grismeld had won her round with his special blend. She must have really liked the stuff. Then again, it was just like her to have her head turned by next to nothing. Oh, and don't forget this, said Grismeld before she ran off without getting what we came for, the key, as promised. Okay, so he didn't say anything about the story, so we're gonna go back again, because I want to see... This is probably going to be my last time playing this game, so I want to see what all the choices are. So we did both hunting for bugs choices, so now we can do the sunflower one. Okay, so I did do this one before, but I made other choices. Okay, so I did the first one. She walked and walked, but the sunflower was nowhere to be found. I did that first one, so we'll do the second one. The poor girl went without food for 3 days and 3 nights. One night, a young girl was walking alone in the forest. She was searching for a golden sunflower, the only way to cure her sick mother's illness. The poor girl went without food for 3 days and 3 nights, and then, in her moment of darkest despair, she saw a brilliant light. It was none other than the golden sunflower she sought. The young girl gratefully pocketed the sunflower's seeds. These will surely save my mother, she thought, but it was all a dream. With a smile on her face, the girl drifted off and dreamed forevermore. Okay. Okay, so, I mean, he doesn't really like any story that you tell him. So he says, like, not what I expected and not the most riveting of tales, but he says that about every story except for the one about the golden beetle, and then Kid, like, freaks out and Grismeld calms her down by giving her a bag, and then he doesn't say anything about the story. Lord Lynx spared Lady Riddle's life so as to not snuff out that of the frozen flame. It's an uncanny stone, you see, has a life of its own and some kind of spiritual bond with Lady Riddle. Wait, what? Did I get this dialogue before? Because I was wondering the whole time during the main ending, I was wondering why Lynx, like, took care of Riddle. And then when we saw the picture of Riddle in the study, Kid kind of implied that, like, Lynx wanted to marry Riddle, but, I mean, that was just her speculating. So I wonder if it has anything to do, like, with this particular ending, because I don't think this happened before. So it has some kind of spiritual bond with Lady Riddle. If there's only some way I could free my lady from this manner, alas, I am powerless to do any such thing. Okay, I remember him saying that, like, that he wanted to free Riddle from the manor because she was always nice to him and she always believed in him. But I don't remember him saying that Lynx spared her life because it had some kind of spiritual bond with Riddle. Okay. Well, if it comes to it. Not if it comes to it. We're gonna kill him tonight and kill him good. It was Kid, of course. And, in exchange, I'll have some more of that tea to take with us. Kid held out her hand before Grismeld could offer an answer. I suppose I have a bag I could share. Grismeld shuffled awkwardly in his seat as he retrieved it. As ever, I was impressed at how Kid's uncompromising attitude and willingness to speak her mind all seemed to always get her what she wanted. Bonzer. Sit tight and leave the rest to us, mate. Throwing the bag in her pocket, Kid took the job. You can trust me. I'm a girl of me word. That might have been the biggest lie she's ever told. Wait, is it though? I mean, I don't think Kid's not like, yeah, she's a thief, but she's not like, she doesn't like lie. Well, she does sometimes, I guess. But she's more like, it's more like she just like keeps her past a secret. Like she doesn't like talking about her past. But she doesn't really like lie out of like malice. She made for the door with a spring in her step. We left the room and Grismeld behind. Also, Rebecca Rosita was the first Hispanic Muppet on Sesame Street. She spoke Spanish for kids. Oh, that's cool. Okay, so I'll just save over this one. So we don't need to go to the kitchen. We need to go to the dungeon. So we need to go to the cell, find Radius, have him like blabber on about whatever. Then Oscar came, but it was Rosita first. Oh, okay. Okay, so this, I don't think, like, they ever actually gave him a name, but this guy is very similar to Radius in Chrono Cross. I think he became Radius. Okay, so we're just gonna skip all this because we already went through all this before. So, if anybody missed this before, just watch another stream. I think not the very first stream, because that was when I didn't save and I died. But like the second stream, and then so like two streams 2, 3, and 4 of this playthrough. That's when I think that's when I played through the main story. Can you be a bit more specific? Okay, so I didn't say this last time. I said I think so last time. We live in a world of sorrow and foolishness. It's only inevitable that some would try to escape it. But despite his hard words, his eyes retained a certain softness, his steely gaze giving way to a gentle light. So that's Madrill saying this to me, like trying to explain why this guy is like ranting and making no sense. Can you be a bit more specific? I'm not quite sure I understand what you mean. Could you explain a little more? I asked him. Of course, you have seen the rap state Kid enters before stealing something, I take it? Oh, I seen it all right. An image of Kid, hands clutched in front of her heart, twirling stars for peoples, floated immediately into my mind. Oscar the trash can. Oh, yeah, I love Oscar. The item in question may not be hers yet, but in her mind she has already taken possession of it, become possessed by it even. In other words, she has been transported to a place completely outside herself. The man you see before you has been transported to a similar place, albeit a much darker one. Made total sense to me now. I still find it amazing how an example from close to home can explain things so clearly. Madge, you're treading on some very thin ice here. Was he? I mean, he had a point. My musings were cut short by her fist crashing into the side of my head. Don't you even think about agreeing with him, Serge. I could get on her bad side without even opening my mouth. It was almost impressive. Okay, so I'm gonna skip this. Or, I mean, we can't really skip it, but we're gonna skip reading it. Okay, so he did mention Riddle, and Madrill said we have to bring him back to reality. Okay, so I said please don't before when Kid said, oh, you want me to do a little dance for him or something? See if that gets his motor going? In order to get him back to reality, I'll do ... I knew if I said anything, I'd get nothing but the earful of a lifetime in return, so I clamped my hands over my mouth to save myself. What are you playing at, Serge? Kid seemed unimpressed. Phew, that was a close one. I don't think that would work, said Madrill dryly. Kid's fist flew straight toward his face. Okay, so he mentioned Riddle and the Dragoons, and so... Okay, in order to do that, we must break through the shell he has created and drag him back to the real world. In order to do that, we need some kind of key, something that will reach him even through the barrier he has erected. Which is that ring, the Dragoon, or the Acacia Signet. But first, we need to go to Riddle, and then she'll tell us we need to get the sword, then we get the sword, and then we go to that Chamber of Death room. Then we use the sword to stop the ceiling trap, and then we get the signet, and then we come back to the cell. Okay, so we need to we need to get through the atrium. Because Riddle's room is on the other side of the atrium. I think there's probably some dialogue I could do with Riddle, too, that I didn't do before. Okay, Kid had thrown her knife to the floor, and I saw that it was only a letter opener. I mean, some letter openers are pretty sharp, you know? They could be used to kill somebody. Okay, but we're gonna skip all this because we've already gone through this before. The flame was once the property of an ancient kingdom to the north who kept it for generations. So I'm thinking they're talking about Guardia. It was said to have the uncanny power to guide people and change history itself. After the kingdom fell, the flame changed hands countless times until it came into my father's possession. That was before I was born. Sometime later, Lynx became aware of the flame's true value and approached my father under false pretenses of friendship. Not a soul suspected what his true intentions were, and then on that horrible day he destroyed everything, he killed everything. I don't care about the frozen flame, I don't care about that stupid accursed stone, it means nothing to me. I just want to take it away from Lynx and smash it to pieces right in front of him. And only we can make that happen. Okay, so, but if she has a spiritual bond with the frozen flame, that doesn't affect her at all? I guess not. Okay, so she said he was a traitor, but she doesn't say exactly what happened. The Chamber of Death. There might be something to bring him back to his senses there. After all, it was there that he chose to abandon his pride, his life. Okay, so I mean, even though I've read all this before, I mean, I'm still trying to, like, put together the story. She's told us the room was cursed, that the blood and tears shed there were transformed by its evil, warped into an all-consuming envy of the living. It is a place that feeds on fear and suffering. It'll take more than a creepy story to scare off a master thief like me. I almost said monster instead of master. A monster thief. No, you mustn't rush in there blindly. You must take the Einlancer with you. It is a sacred sword said to have been forged by an ancient sage and a sister blade to the crimson-cursed Massimian. The timeless blessings of the Einlancer will surely keep you safe from the Chamber of Death's wickedness. It used to be such a sight to see in the hands of Zoronda. It danced like the wind, shone like the stars, and struck like lightning. Also, Rebecca Rosita was Mexican, her character. Oh, okay. That's cool. Lost again in the memories of fonder times, Riddle once more bowed her head. Forgive me, I have little more to tell you. Okay. So, I still don't know exactly what the guy in the dungeon did. She just said he was a traitor, and it's because of him... I don't know, her dad? Because of him, Viper died? Maybe? Okay, so... we need to go back up the stairs. Okay. I don't remember where I'm supposed to go. Let's go toward the terrace. Okay, yeah, this is the room. Okay, skip. Okay, so I mean, we're not that far from the ending. Oh. Another dialogue choice I could do. You gonna make me lug the bloody thing around the place? I'm just a scrawny little girl, ain't I? Call yourself a gentleman? My jaw dropped because I said a scrawny little before, so I'm gonna do my jaw dropped. I knew there wasn't anything I could say to her. Silently, I walked over to Kid and picked up the sword like I was told. Whoa! I nearly fell over. That thing was heavy. Good boy. Right, off to the Chamber of Death. Eyes on the prize, lads. Dragging the sword behind me, I followed Kid out of the room. What? I mean, she wanted to take it in the first place. I think that's what I said last time, too. Like, she wanted me to carry it, but she's the one that was going to take it in the first place. I don't remember what direction was the Chamber of Death. Oh, yeah, it's this way. Okay, so continue on, because it's upstairs. Like, this is the only thing up these stairs. Okay, go inside. Okay, and then now I know I have to put the sword in the ground. So I haven't gone in here before, so the whole thing has to play out like I was in here the first time. I cannot hold out much longer. My only hope now is to leave the Acacian signet in this room. Okay, so that was what was written in blood, but so was it the old guy that wrote that? I think it was. Because like you show him the signet and then he comes back to reality. Into the ground. So I did all those choices before, so I'm not gonna do them now. Okay, so I'm just at almost 3 hours into the stream, so I think I'm making some pretty good time with the endings. Because last night I did 4 hours and it was like basically like an hour per ending. Like I thought I'd be able to finish all the endings in one stream. I mean, at least like I was trying to, but I didn't know how long the endings would take, but according to the walkthrough, like, it seemed pretty, like, easy to get to the endings, which it is, except for this one, since I have to play, like, the entire game again. But it is pretty easy to get to them. It's just that the endings themselves take so long to play out. Alright, well, we'll see if there's any dialogue choices here that I may have missed. Kid waved the Acacian signet in his face, shaking him roughly all the while. Step between them and try to stop her. I asked Magil to make Kid stop, so... The first time I stepped between them, so I'll ask Magil to make Kid stop. I looked at Magil in horror. Is this how we're going to break through his shell? Fear not, this approach is as good as any. Oh, okay. But do we even have the right to drag the poor man back into reality like this? Hasn't he suffered enough? I am prepared to do anything to achieve our goal. Okay. Magil stared right through me with that ice-cold gaze. Can see why he gets along with Kid. It is because of my indiscretion that the frozen flame was stolen, and that all of the Acacian Dragoons only I remain here in the manor. Okay. It is because of my indiscretion. I'm not sure what that means exactly. I don't know if that means he, like, betrayed them, or if he just, like, made a mistake and, like, slipped up and, like, accidentally told the wrong person or something. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty much at the end of the game, because he told me how to get to the underground vault, and then from there, that's pretty much where it ends. I just need to get to the main hall. I mean, you get trapped in that magic circle that the Griffin tells you how to get out of, but other than that, like, it's pretty much the end. Like, you go into the ruins of Zeal, which I mean, I guess I don't think they ever, like, said that it was Zeal, but it was implied very heavily that it was the ruins of Zeal. I think this is the wrong way. But let me go to the next door. Was this the treasure room? Yeah, this is the treasure room. Okay, so this is the wrong way. Of course, another random encounter. So I don't think you can ever actually, like, just run away at first, because it always gives you the option, like, oh, I suggested a tactical retreat. But every time I've done that, Kid has been like, what are you talking about? We gotta go fight. So it just, like, never works. So I have found that with these random encounters, there are some moves that seem to work better than others. Like dodging at first and then stabbing its hand that it's holding its weapon in, and then throwing your knife at it and then taking the mace and not the Morning Star, that it usually works. I mean, sometimes it doesn't. Like, sometimes if I just straight up attack, that works. But I've gotten better results out of dodging, then stabbing the weapon hand, then stealing the mace and hitting the goblin with the mace. And then with the skeleton random encounter, like, those always play out the same. And the ghost, too. Okay, so I think we have to keep going. Yeah, here's the main hall. Okay, we'll save here. Okay, so it's been just over an hour and a half. And so this is like a speed run of the game. But I did go through that really long thing with the arena, being transported to the arena, which I still don't understand the point of that. But maybe it'll be explained with this ending. Okay, and then this is when Kid starts talking about she's like struggling. Okay, so I've already done both these dialogue choices, so I'll just choose the one that is the shorter conversation. Okay, so down this hallway is when we get into that magic circle trap. Okay, so let me pull up my notes. Okay, so I've done these two dialogue choices also. Okay, so this is when Kid says, like, she doesn't really go into detail, but she says, like, oh, I'm doing it for Sis. So, which is Luca, although there was another ending where it was Felicia. And then she's, like, she needs to go bury it at her friend's grave. Her sister's friend's grave. Which I thought at first was Chrono, but I'm thinking maybe it's Marl, because now she says, I need to find the grave of a girl who married another mate of hers and died not long after. So I'm wondering if that means she needs to bury it at Marl's grave, or if she just needs to find Marl's grave because Chrono's grave will be next to it. She said that's where a frozen flame should be laid to rest or something like that. Or maybe just like between their graves. Okay, so I'm gonna have to get out of this. So it's right 3 times, left 2 times, right 2 times. Right 3 times. Left 2 times. And right 2 times. Okay, so I can't save anymore. Rawr, she's taken one look inside the room beyond the door and charged in, shouting at the top of her lungs. Magil and I followed behind her. In front of us stood a man with a very odd hairstyle. Tracked you down at last, Lynx! The great treasure we sought stood between us, a faint crimson light pouring off of it. The frozen flame. I almost yelped its name in my excitement. It would appear to be the jewel, yes. As if, in response, the crimson glow seemed to intensify. Here you are at last. I had begun to worry that you might never appear. Oh, there was never any danger of that. Thanks for hanging out down here with the rock we came to pinch, by the way. Makes things much easier. 2 birds with 1 stone. It's like all me birthdays have come at once. I thought we agreed we were only here for the frozen flame, Magil muttered discontentedly. Kid barreled on regardless, stepping forward and pointing boldly at Lynx. Sorry to have kept you waiting, Lynxie, but we're here now. So if you don't mind, we'll be knocking 10 bells out of you and taking the frozen flame home with us as a little memento. She was clearly very pleased with her little speech. You clearly do not lack self-belief, but I am afraid things may not end as well for you as you had hoped. He was grinning ominously. Initiate Mecha Lynx launch protocol. Okay, this is definitely a different ending than what happened before. What the? As Lynx's command, a great hole began to open up in the floor between us. Whirr! What looked like an enormous lynx rose slowly from beneath. What the hell is that? The massive mechanoid launched into action, smashing into the ceiling with its huge bulk. The entire roof collapsed and a great shower of rubble fell, revealing the full moon above us, hanging in the star-speckled night sky. Whoa! What? Nobody told me about this bloody thing. The appearance of the robot had wrong-footed us all quite spectacularly. We turned and ran. We stood and fought. We stopped to think for a moment. We're gonna have to fight. Alright, if it's a fight he wants. Ahem, begging your pardon? A small voice piped up from behind us. We jumped with a start and turned around. What the? There was a crystal floating in the air, emitting a bright light. It's me! I had a feeling things might get interesting, so I decided to follow you. Ganju, murmured Magil. What the bloody heck do you want? I thought I might be able to help you. I do owe you a favor for liberating me from that room, after all. Okay, so I guess that was the point of the whole arena thing, was for Ganju to appear, and then he comes back later. And I owe Lynx a favor for trapping me there in the first place. Okay, I'm still confused. Like, how did we free Ganju from the room, though? And why did Lynx put him there in the first place? Alright, and how's a floating crystal supposed to help us? I'm glad you asked. I hereby entrust you with the mighty Paradeuce. Paradeuce? And by the way, none of you will need to transform this time. Wait, what? Before I could finish, the crystal shone with a blazing light, forcing me to shut my eyes. When the light finally abated, I saw a giant creature standing between us and Mecha Lynx. What the hell is that? Kid was shocked by the new arrival. Whatever it is, I guess it's on our side. Now things are getting interesting. Kid quickly sized up the 2 massive beings. So it's Paradeuce versus Mecha Lynx. Oh, it's the Cyclops that Kid turned into. Lynx had grabbed the frozen flame and clambered inside his mechanical namesake. Testing, testing, is this thing on? Ahem, wahahaha. You expect to defeat me with that misbegotten wretch? Mecha Lynx will crush you! Mecha Lynx will crush you all! Dream on, mate. Your metal mate there'll be good for nothing but the scrap heap by the time Paradeuce is done with you. The 2 combatants faced off against one another, the moonlight glinting off their vast forms. Prepare to die, Paradeuce. Not likely. Eat monster fist, you mecha moron. Kablowie! Kablowie! The giants crashed together and the battle had begun. Power punch, killer kick, evade. Power punch. Go, Paradeuce. Use power punch. Paradeuce responded instantly to my command and swung at the mech with an enormous right hook. The punch connected perfectly, resulting in a huge explosion. Arrgh. But the Cyclops had hurt its hand. Okay, kick this time. Killer kick. Paradeuce swung its leg like a club, smashing into Mecha Lynx with earth-shaking force. Ka-clung! Roar! The Cyclops' roar of agony filled the moonlit sky. Mechalinx barely seemed to have felt the blow. Wahahaha! Witness the immovable might of Mechalinx. Damn it, how is that thing still standing? Come on, Paraduse, don't fail us now. Okay, evade this time. You mean be careful, Paraduse. Whoosh. Mechalinx fired off a huge rocket punch. Watch out, Paraduse. He heard me just in time and dodged the blow by a hair's breadth. But these rocket punches were just as dangerous on the return journey, and this one was making a beeline for Paraduse from behind. Boom, shroom. Paraduse, behind you. But I was too late this time. Gadoosh. It slammed it with full force into Paraduse's belly. This Mechalinx ain't messing around. Punch! 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 Paraduse let loose with its left. Now it had hurt its left hand too. Okay, kick. Killer kick. The giant launched a low kick with its left leg, so it can only throw one punch with each hand before it hurts itself. Great idea, Paraduse. That'll knock that thing off its feet. Clang! Clang! Mechalinx hadn't even flinched, and Paraduse's leg was now bent at a sickening angle. Truth, this thing is tough as all hell. Kid sounded almost impressed. Evade. You have to get out of the way, Paraduse. Ooh, ka-shunk, ka-shunk. Mechalinx's chest opened up and a row of missiles emerged from within. No, Paraduse, get out of the way! They raced off one after the other and flew straight towards the three of us. Look out, bloody hell! We were done for! Da-dong, da-dong, boom! Huh? Paraduse had stepped in front of us to take the missiles full in the chest. There was no way that hadn't done some serious damage. The poor creature screamed in agony. Damn you, Lynx! But the fight wasn't over yet. Paraduse beam! It's true, this Mechalinx is a serious problem. What are we gonna do, kid? What are you asking me for? You're the one telling Paraduse what to do. I mean, I'm sure you could also give him some instructions. But no, you're right. Maybe if I gave the heavily injured Paraduse the order to end all orders. Unleash the Paraduse beam. Yes, the beam. How does Surge know that, though? The beam that didn't exist. What the heck, Surge? Okay, so it doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't know. Shut up, you're not helping. While all this was going on, Mechalinx had launched into its next maneuver. This time we really were done for. It seems I have no choice. Magil stepped forward. Hear me, Paraduse. Mechalinx had initiated an attack. It was only a matter of moments now. It's time. Unleash raging apocalyptic inferno of extremely certain death. Raging apocalyptic inferno of extremely certain death? A huge fireball was emerging from Paraduse's mouth. It flew toward Mechalinx. Blam! Boom! Bang! The resulting explosion blew Mechalinx to smithereens. Yes! Not bad, Madge. We had defeated the mighty Mechalinx. Okay, so I guess it doesn't matter what you choose. I think it plays out the same way. Thanks so much, Paraduse. Yeah, nice one, big guy. That was quite the showdown. We had nothing but gratitude for our enormous friend. Right, on your way, mate. We'll take it from here. Although Kid was as quick to forget the social niceties as ever. There was a blinding white flash and Paraduse was gone. Right, now to find us a jewel. She began rooting through the wreckage of Mechalinx. Do you think that the frozen flame will still be in one piece? I asked Magil. Undoubtedly, it is no ordinary gemstone. Kid was running around all over the place, rooting through piles of debris. Bingo! It seemed she'd found it. We went over to her. She was standing by the remains of the driver's seat. Lying amongst the wreckage was Lynx himself, or what little remained after he'd been frazzled. Yep, here we go. And with that, she plucked the jewel, crimson light still pouring out of it from somewhere in the corpse's vicinity. The frozen flame was ours at last. It was beautiful, so much so that it didn't seem possible that it could be of this world. Would you mind awfully if I had a look? The voice came from the crystal. I fear your prison may pale in comparison. So saying, Magil held the crystal out toward the frozen flame. Truly, it is wondrous. To have been able to encounter such splendor is a blessing indeed. I was right to accompany your little band. The voice seemed to be quavering with wonder. And on that note, clink! The crystal shattered. All that remained in Magil's hand were fragments and dust. But What the heck do you think you're doing, Madge? How are we supposed to call old Paradoos next time we need a hand, eh? And that thing was definitely worth a bunch, too. Honestly, I can't take you anywhere. All is as it should be. It was a familiar voice, but this time it wasn't coming from the remains of the crystal. Once the spirit inhabiting it moves on to a new jewel, the old one dies. This is as it is meant to be. Okay, so Ganju went into the frozen flame? It was coming from the frozen flame. What do you mean? When we find ourselves a new jewel to inhabit, we stone dwellers take on the attributes of our new homes. Thus do we travel the world from place to place, from gem to gem, in search of even ever greater power. And there is no greater power than that of this stone. It is more wondrous than I had even dared to dream. Perhaps you might join me here? Regardless, I now have the power to aid you by calling on even greater beings than the Cyclops. Oh, so it's like a summon. Kid squinted as she tried to peer inside the jewel. So now you're inside this thing? Does that mean it'll be weaker because you're using up all its magic power? Thankfully, my dear, it does not. Good, because we can't have you going anywhere now that you're inside it. Break the frozen flame, mate, and I'll find a way to break your head. You mark me words. Very well. And with that, the conversation was over. Kid took the stone into her pocket and stood to leave. Right, frozen flame bagged, Lynx burned to a crisp. I'd say that's mission accomplished, wouldn't you? Indeed. I agree. That actually was a better ending than the main ending because we got what we wanted. Like, we got the frozen flame intact and Lynx dead. What now? An excellent question. What now, kid? What do you think, you pair of drongos? There's heaps of jewels still out there, ain't there? Just sitting there, waiting for us to come and swipe them. Wouldn't do for us to keep them waiting now, would it? Come on, boys, our thieving days are only just beginning. Okay, very interesting. And so ends another tale. Perhaps one day I'll see the strange and terrible Paradoos again. Alright, so at every ending in the final journal entry, he'll say, perhaps one day I'll see, and then whoever is in that ending he'll put in there. But this time it was just Paradoos. Oh, and it's, you know why it's just Paradoos? Because, okay, in the main ending, Kid leaves with Magil, and she tells Surge to, like, not follow them. And then in his final journal entry, he's like, oh, perhaps I'll see Kid and Magil and Riddle one day again. But in this ending, he's still with them. So he only says Paradoos. Okay, so yeah, so like I said, I think that's actually like a better ending than the main ending because everybody got what they wanted. Well, not Lynx, but he shouldn't get what he wants. He's a bad guy. Because in the main ending, Lynx survives. He just runs off, like he just escapes. And then the frozen flame. I actually don't even remember what happened to the frozen flame. But the time egg shatters. So Lynx is trying to get the time egg from Kid. And if you get the good ending, she gives it up to save Surge's life. But then Lynx escapes when Poor invades the manor. And then after that, then Kid leaves with Magil, And she tells Serge to not follow them. She's like, oh no, Serge, don't get involved with us. Go have a good life. Like, we're bad for you. And, like, I gotta go do my own thing. So this was actually, like, a happier ending. Interesting. Okay. So, what we have left to do now, that was the last ending for the in-game ending. So, what we're going to do now is, we're gonna go run through that credits scene. I'm just gonna let this play out. Okay. That was interesting. I don't know if it was worth playing all of that, but they were definitely very interesting endings. Some of them just came out of nowhere. Like that ending where Magil actually ended up being some sort of like space policeman. That was really strange. The sunflower monster ending, that was also really strange. And then the Felicia one, let me see what else we had here. The Felicia ending made more sense because it like actually had to do with kids' past. And then the first one with like Riddle knowing Magil when they were kids, that was also a weird one. And then there was the one where Magil was like a hunter, like a supernatural hunter, and Lilith, the goddess of death, took over Riddle's body. That one was also, I mean, I think for the most part, they've just been like very strange. Okay, so just to make sure that we get all the endings checked off here. Nice. Okay, we'll go into a continue. And then, I mean, I guess I'll just save immediately. Okay, so you know what I do notice, that I didn't notice before, is that it skips the whole forest part right before you get to the manor when you get into the fight with the wildcats. Okay, so now we have to go do the credits scene. So, okay. I think what I have to do is... I don't know how to make it capture the credits. Okay, let me see. Okay. Okay, I can see that it's picking up the music, but it's... Why is it not capturing... It's not capturing the thing. Oh, why did my game close? Let's try that again. is that not coming up? Okay. Maybe I'll just do the whole screen. Okay. Okay, no, that's not working. Might have to do the credits first. Okay, there we go. And just box it. Okay, so what we have to do here is we have to let the credits play out, and then apparently there's another ending. I wonder who figured this out, you know? That you had to, like, first of all, that it's, like, exclusive to the remaster, and then that you had to, like, play the credits. Well, first of all, that you had to beat Chrono Cross and Radical Dreamers, and then go through the credits and just let them play out. Hopefully the credits aren't going to be too long. Okay, so, I think, anyway, so while the credits are playing, I think, this is going to be my last stream for about, like, a week or so, because I've got some work stuff going on next week. But in that time, I mean, I don't know what I'm going to play next, so in that time I'm going to have to think about what I want to play next. I've had some suggestions, so Chrono Trigger I was considering, or the Final Fantasy VII Remake, or FF15, or one of the Metroid Fusion, or Dread. I have some other games on my list too. I mean, I have a bunch of games, so Spider-Man Miles Morales, I've been wanting to play that for a really, really long time. But it's still, like, super expensive, and I've heard it's a really short game, so I'm gonna see if I can still get it on sale. Or maybe, oh, Yoshi's Crafted World, maybe? I mean, I have a bunch of games on my list, but I don't know if I'm, like, really interested in some of these right now. Life is Strange 2. So I love Life is Strange. So I might have to get that one. I never played the second one, but I played Life is Strange and Life is Strange Before the Storm. I really like both of those games. But yeah, maybe something with voice acting in my next game, so I can take a break from having to read everything out loud. Oh, Hades. I also have Hades on my list. I've heard Hades is such a good game. I have it on my Switch, I've just never played it. Maybe I'll play that next. My brother really, really likes Hades. He said it's one of the best games he's ever played. And that is very high praise coming from my brother because he's very critical of everything. I have Days Gone. I'm still interested in playing that. I just haven't, like, I never played it. I mean, I was really interested in it when it first got announced, but I never played it because when it came out, the reviews weren't very good. Persona 5 Royal is also on my list, so I've played Persona 5, and I love Persona 5. I don't know if I want to go for Royal, though, because Persona 5, that's already, like, at least a 100-hour game, and, Persona 5 Royal just adds to the content. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking I probably won't do Persona. I mean, maybe like in the future. And it has been a while since I played it. It's been... When did Persona come out? I mean, I might be willing to play it again. Because I loved that game. I loved it. Because normally okay, so it came out in 2016. But I don't think I played it right when it came out. I think maybe like a year later. So typically, I don't like playing games for a very long time. But Persona 5, I had like 180 something hours in it, and that is very long for me. That is a lot of hours for me in one game, because I don't like to play games for too long. I just get bored playing the same game over and over. I mean, this is why it's so hard for me to, like, not be a variety streamer. Even though, like, especially being on YouTube, the advice is to stick to one game and build your audience off of that. Because your audience, like, they want to know what you're doing. They want to know that you're only going to play this game until you establish, like, an audience, and then you can go play other games, because then your audience likes you and they'll watch you play anything. But I don't know if I can do that. Oh, there's somebody named Disney in here. Marketing ex-director is Laura Disney. I wonder if she's related to, like, you know, like Walt Disney. Okay, I mean, really, like, these credits are really long. Like, who figured out that you had to, like, go sit through these credits for an ending? Or maybe Square just, like, announced it. Square Enix, maybe they just, like, announced it, you know? They were just like, hey, we put it an ending at the end of our credits, so you have to watch all the credits to see this ending. Oh, look at that. We got a Ferrari in there. Laura Ferrari. We got some fancy names in there. Aw, special thanks. All fans of Chrono Cross and Radical Dreamers. That's us, guys. We're fans of Chrono Cross and Radical Dreamers. Okay, here it comes. The time was near. The final battle awaited. There, alone in the shadows, the man lingered. His partners, a young man and a young woman, had already made their preparations and were waiting for him at the place they had agreed upon. Their foe was a fearsome opponent indeed. Would the three of them be able to defeat him? There was only one way to find out. All the better. What fun is a battle whose outcome is all but certain? I mean, I definitely have more fun when I'm certain to win. The man reached a hand to his mask. Silver and unembellished, save for a few subtle details. It had been many long years since he last revealed his face. Did he wear the mask to hide himself from others? Or did he wear it to hide from himself? Oh, very philosophical. Enough time had passed that not even he was sure anymore. But it didn't matter now. The end was coming, an end to everything. Soon his long days of wandering would be over. So too would the girl's ill-fated, fleeting existence. How many years had passed? How many centuries? How much love and prayer? How much hatred and rancor? How much despair and resignation had slowly and silently fallen over him, piling up like snow. On that fated day long, long ago, everything that he was had vanished, faded away into nothingness, without so much as a whimper. There was nothing he could have done to stop it. But one memory stayed with him, even after everything else fell away. One unforgettable image. That kingdom of winds forever lost, those blessed days in a paradise above the clouds, and that face, her gentle, bittersweet smile. Perhaps his time behind the mask was coming to an end. His icy gaze seemed to thaw for a moment, and then he sprang to action. The moonlight flashed across the mask's surface. His silvery hair flowed behind him, reaching out like the tail of a comet. The time has come, O fated star, the king has returned. And with that, he vanished into the darkness. Though a life may end, a story lives on. Not forever, perhaps, but... What's eternity compared to this moment in time? Finn, what? I'm so confused. That raises more questions than it answers. So, it's talking about Magus, right? But I don't really... I mean, what? Like, what did that... What happened, though? Alright, well, I'm gonna have to look that up. Okay, well, we got all the endings, we made it. Thank you guys so much for coming along with me on this Chrono Cross and Radical Dreamer's journey, because I am done with it. I am done with Chrono Cross and Radical Dreamers. I'm not playing it anymore. So I'm gonna move on to my next game. Like I said, I don't know what that will be next, but I'm gonna think about it because I don't think I'll be able to stream next week. We'll see. If I can, I'll post an announcement and all that. But we'll see. If you guys have any suggestions, you can feel free to tweet at me or leave comments on my YouTube videos or whatever, however you'd like to contact me. I'm going to think about it and do an announcement, and next time I will be streaming a new game. But I think this Chrono Cross Radical Dreamers journey was really great. you know, I've been saying this throughout the whole playthrough, but it's definitely not as good as Chrono Trigger. It's just an inferior game, but it's still fun. And Radical Dreamers was definitely very interesting. It was way longer than I expected, but I think it had some really, really interesting insights and endings. It does seem like it took place in an alternate timeline. GG, thanks! Alright guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. I will see you in the next stream or video. Bye!